Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. Hey, it's Mark. Yes, we are back. It's beautiful, 47 degrees and rain today here in Lafayette. Traffic and weather on the twos. What's going on? It's Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. CW Call died this week. Remember him? Oh, yeah. Looks like we got ourselves a convoy. Straight up the big road. At the New Jersey Slow Roll, did you hear that they were going to protest fuel prices? Some drivers in New Jersey? Yeah, like 5 of them. Oh, yeah, didn't happen. Road check is coming. There's a truck leasing task force that is getting ready to start the beginning of April. Guess what? It's the beginning of April. They're getting ready to get people on it. I'm going to apply. You should too. There's a $7,500 tax credit that you might be getting. All drivers might get this. It's proposed. It's a bill, remember, from Saturday mornings on how a bill becomes law. That's what we're going to have to watch. How about a $7,500 tax credit for you? Here's the thing. Depends on how many hours you work and stuff. How are you going to prove that? Are they going to have you turning your logs and stuff like that? What is going on? The cat is attacking a box. All right. So anyway, that's what they're going to do. Let's see what you think about that and everything else that's going on this week. So what's going on out there? Today I had George H.W. Bush first today on my screen. All right. Million Milers here. A Glitter Sparkle, hello. John McCain is here. Well, we got a lot of executives and, former executives here. Joan Harper, hello. What's going on today? Creature 937 is here. What's happening? Stan Dodge, good to see you. Gear Jammer's here. Oh, you got lost the back entrance of the manhole. Yikes, there is only a back entrance. There's no entrance in the front of the manhole. It's a zoning ordinance. Kelly is here. What's going on? Stan Dodge listens to the podcast. He's behind. Yeah, the podcast comes out twice a week. I'd like to say Tuesday, Friday we shoot for. But twice a week on the podcast. Get it on your favorite podcasting app. So you don't have to look at me there. Only get me in your ear hole, which most people prefer. Gary, love the fuel crisis. Figure if you could survive it, you're okay. Yeah, they were going to protest that in New Jersey. Were you one of the 4 people that was going to protest it? JJ, what's happening? Dylan, it's going great this week. We're going to roll the opening credits. Jerry Rock's called a hammer. If you had a hammer, you'd hammer in the morning. That hammer hammers 24/7 because he got posters, billboards everywhere. And he does fill a good need here, actually. Columbia George, greetings, drivers. The Mackinac Bridge is closed. Why? Weather? It was a weather problem? Paul Vines, happy Monday. I haven't gone up there. Oh, gosh, wanted to go up there a few years ago for a Freightliner event, of all things. We crossed the bridge there to go to Sault Ste. Marie, right? So, in a car, I drove up there. Does the manhole have truck parking? Would like to bump a dock at the manhole. Yes, there is truck parking, of course, in the back. Everyone's welcome at the manhole. GJG reeling in the ears. Hey, Mark, hey, what's going on? Stan Dodge. Yeah, I wish I had a clapper like that. The clapper. New Jersey's a slow roll anyway. Can't slow it down any further. These guys were going to leave the Vince Lombardi rest area, and I remember that because the name. It was an unusually named rest area. And a slow roll up and to get everybody fired up about the fuel price because they said, look, a lot of loads, we just barely break even. Load's $2,000. It's $2,000 of fuel to roll the load. How about that? Isn't that great? All you owner-operators, that's how it works, right? About the price that you get paid for a load, that's how much the fuel costs you, right? Cash is King Trucking is here. Breaker, Rubber Ducky, right? Yeah, right. Let's keep the pig pen back a little bit farther. Too bad, right? 93. He was 93 years old. Hey, Mark, how the kitties, Mike? She's great. She's down here looking at a box, which she's probably going to start eating again. John Staniszewski saw a container hauler overturn on the pike near Pittsburgh. Was it not attached, or did the whole truck turn over? Because sometimes we have some of those problems. Avoid the Wiener cutoff. What's up, you Wieners? Gear Jammer. Vince Lombardi Service Plaza is 200 spots, and it's always full. All right. Well, so it's a legitimate place. That's where they were. And some reporter went and interviewed him. One of them had a jacket that looked like it was pretty expensive. But hey, you got to look good. Anyways, they were going to go slow rolling up the road there to get everybody fired up about fuel prices, but there weren't enough of them. John Harper, if everyone's welcome at the manhole, then why is it called man? Well, I don't know. Why is a manhole over a sewer called a manhole? I mean, it's just called a manhole. You know what I mean? It was started by a former sewer worker in the 30s, and, it's just name that. Why is Firehouse subs, but everybody's welcome to get a sub, even though they're not firemen. You know what I'm saying? Chicken Holiday Skateboarder. Hey, I just got my hazmat. All right. The ELDT is a waste of money. Nice. $90 for nothing. How long did it take you to get your background check back? The lady at the DMV surprised when I said mine back in 9 hours. That's great. I've heard people taking weeks, right? I dropped that years ago because we don't use it, and they don't pay extra for it. They stopped paying extra for hazmat load, so, and now really we don't use it, so no thanks. But I don't know. It used to be pretty quick, but I haven't had it in 2 license cycles, so. The whole truck turned over. It was full of paint. Covering the earth, right? Cover the world. Isn't that what it says? Keltarusu Travels, good morning to you all. Happy Wieners and happy Roller Wiener Monday. It's always a great Roller Wiener Monday here. Wilbon 1879, what's up, Trucking Answers? Mark and fans, keep on trucking and keep the rubber slapping the asphalt. Yeah, especially today. It's going to be wet rubber on the asphalt in the rainstorm. That service plaza is literally one of the dirtiest rust areas I've ever seen here, Jammer. Well, they had to stay there a little bit longer. Apparently, they couldn't get, they couldn't get anything happening there. Should an owner-operator give a percentage of the TON and detention to a company they're leased onto? Depends on whatever your contract says. How about that? Whatever you agree to, you should do. Should you get that? You should. But if you agreed to something different, then no. Don't agree to something that you don't want. I mean, really, an owner-operator, if you have a contract, the contract is the deal. Here's the contract. If they get a part of it, then they get a part of it. It should go to the owner of the truck. But the owner can decide differently, I suppose. You heard Hurricane is offering a $1,900 a week guarantee plus tons of chicken lights. Nice. $1,900 guarantee. What do you have to do to get the $1,900, though? I'm always wondering, what you have to do with that. Now, do you have to wear any of these? This was sent in by an astute viewer. I want to get this out here while I remember it. Yes, the Flying J in Hebron, Indiana. Has anybody been there? Apparently, this is a new display there at the Flying J, so you can pick up some shoes. Would you have to wear these to get the $1,900? I mean, do you have to stay out a long time? They do have nice trucks at Hurricane. Let's be honest about that. But, how do you get the $1,900? What do you have to do for it? Wow. Saw this color changing cat litter. I did, right. It changes color depending on the urine to indicate illnesses. I have seen it, Dylan. Martha Stewart advertises for it. I didn't know they were selling it at stores yet, but Martha Stewart advertises for it. Manhole, because you can't get many ladies to search out rat kings and sewers. That's true. Not many women working in the sewers. Probably smarter than us for that. It's called the manhole. Remember, of all the ones we've lost. We all got to pour one out there, or something comes out there for all the ones that have gone before us. Hello, everyone in Oregon. Rainy and windy here. At least it's not snow. I think we're done this year, finally. After that snow last week, I think we're finished. I hope. Next stop in New Jersey is the Molly Pitcher stop. Oh, all right. They're all named, right? I don't know. I didn't know people knew the names of them. 70 in Eatonton, Georgia. Yeah, of course. Haul the load without hazmat endorsement. They never check me. Here they haul isopropyl. Stand dodge. Yeah, I probably wouldn't take a hazmat without the endorsement in case there's a problem. But here's the thing. I think you should get paid extra over whatever a regular load. If a company pays X amount for a load and they go, this load is hazmat, and so you need to haul it, that should pay extra. You had to go through a process to get the endorsement, and you have to go through a process to haul the load. So it should pay more money because it's more work for you and more, professionalism in the amount of things that you have to do to get it. So when they don't, I'm out. They just remodeled the Vince Lombardi a year or two ago. It already looks run down. They remodeled it with all run down stuff. How's the wildfires in Gatlinburg? I didn't know that's burning down there. The Hurricane trucks look nice. Gear Jammer, they have great looking trucks. Yeah, they're one of those companies with good looking trucks. But just a good looking truck doesn't pay the bills. You got to have some money to pay bills. I can't send a picture of the truck to Duke Energy and go, hey, keep my lights on. Look at this truck I'm driving. They don't really care. That's the thing about a good looking truck. Nutley, New Jersey is nuts. Nutley, New Jersey. Background checks at the manhole. Oh, nobody'd ever get in. Don't know. Don't care. I keep my $1,800 minimum guarantee at Smith. Yeah, and your guarantee actually pays. So that's a problem at some places. If it's $1,900, no problem, then I guess it's no problem. But, some places like that have an issue paying it. We need a hurricane shelter from the craft flying from Hurricane. They haven't had a good, previous reputation, but, they can always change, so we can hope for that. Kelt Rooster Trails Chicken Lights and 1900. Nice. Look, I'll tell you what. If it really pays the 1900 every week, even if you get like 1,000 miles and you get a nice truck, which they buy the fuel for, I'm all for it then. Maybe they have changed their ways. Cash King Trucking, your opinion on giving a part of the TON, your truck ordered not used, right, for people, to the carrier, it would depend on the percentage and if I pay for the trailer. If they paid for the trailer and insurance, I'd probably be willing to split it. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I think it should be whatever the deal is up front. You make a deal, contract, and so it should have all that spelled out in it. If it's 80-20, let's say, like some places, of everything, then it's 80-20 of this. I mean, if you agree to it up front, I think you agree to it. Your remedy then is to not work there, really. But whatever you agree to up front, and that is the same for a company driver. I mean, a company driver that waits 6 hours and then gets $10 an hour can't really complain about it later when if they tell you up front, here's what it is, and you go, I will still work here, and then I guess you still work there, Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Derek. Columbia, Georgia, do they have flip-flops? They should have free flip-flops, considering how many of them are there at the J. I delivered a sewage plant when I worked for Summage. Really? What did you deliver to a sewage plant? I cannot imagine. As long as you don't have to pick up there, I think that'd be worse. Hurricane truck never blows by me. LTL can have some hazmat, no permit. It depends what it is, right? 9, when I hauled for Ford, we'd get airbags and stuff, and that was like in the U.S., they're like, in the United States, this doesn't have to be placarded. So, although the trailer had to be 10 years or newer, which was interesting. That was a Ford thing. But yeah, you could haul some things which had hazmat on the paperwork, but you didn't need the permit. Look, if it has to be placarded, you need the endorsement. And so once that happens, I think that should trigger more money for the driver. Because then the driver has to go through a whole deal. The pilot near Providence, Rhode Island is way worse. Some of them are not great. As a company driver, Paul Harris, 1,100-mile trip of that 480 miles bobtail. Wow. Glad I'm not paying for empty fuel miles. Hialeah, Florida to New Albany, Ohio. No doubt. Wow, that's like 87% of them are empty miles from my public schooling. No, but seriously, right? That's the good part of not having to worry about it. If they send you, then I guess they figured the rate pays enough. Dark 688, I did my second interview with Maverick Logistics, and I think it went well. Got my hazmat endorsement reinstated and renewed my TWIC, so I'm all set. All right. What is their problem? Why are they taking so long? I hear this from a lot of people. What is Maverick doing? Get people on. It's Mr. Plow. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Marky, sorry I'm late. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. Million Mile, I spent 4 days at the terminal for my PM. I'm still getting my $1,800. Yeah, your place pays the $1,800. So when you get $1,800 there, you actually get $1,800. So if they have a problem, you still get $1,800, even though you may only work 3 days. And I think that's an interesting way to do it. So when somebody says 1,900 hurricane or whatever, be very careful about how it is that you get the money. What do you have to do for the money? Is it nothing, or is it unspeakable things? I think I heard you get your own authority is like $900. No, that's not bad. I guess. I think it's the insurance. That's what most people tell me. The insurance is the killer. James Bass, hello. Hey, what's going on? Juan. Hey, Mark, is being on call from, say, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. considered on duty? You're in the truck and at the DC. Interesting. I was going to say, are you sleeping at your house? What do you mean you're in the truck? Are you waiting for a dispatch? Let's ask that specific question because that's listed in the FMCSA. Are you waiting for dispatch during that time? And we'll see what they say about that. Anselm, Penelope, Rain Blossom Smith, the longest name on YouTube. Good morning, boys and girls. Hello. $10 an hour, James Bass. Look, I've seen it. Don't agree to it, right? But if you agree to it, then later you agreed to it. That's all I'm saying. Go barefoot. I'm waiting to see that someday. I want to set my boss straight. My phone call was interfering with the show. Yeah, what is he doing? Phone's off during the show. Confirmed picking up a sewage plants is bad. I would think, look, I don't mind delivering. Maybe you're delivering. Yeah, heck, you could deliver uniforms or manhole covers or whatever, right? But I think picking up would be worse. Hey, we have a load leaving here. Ooh. Cash King Trucking. I'm near the Smokies right now, grilling some burgers for lunch. No fries around here other than the grill fires. Oh, okay. And no fries either, right? Because of the carbs. I'm learning from the other channel right here, which is right there. All right. Trucking with diabetes, right? We're going to cut out the carbs and increase the protein. That should be a song. It should be. Gear Jammer, I've helped dry ice, which is not hazardous, but if it's in an airplane, it's hazardous. Hauled it. Really? So just depending on who's hauling it is what it is? All right, well. I've only had little chunks of it that I've thrown into water and it bubbles. I'm seeing all these ads where I live near Louisville, and it seems like these local jobs pay better than regional. Yeah, some do. Yeah, absolutely. If you're at a good place, you can make great money at a local job. Absolutely. We have some longer hours here. Drivers making, 2,000 plus a week. So depends how much you want to work, and absolutely, you can make more local than over the road. John M. Date tips, date a girl with warrants. She's never going to call the cops. Oh, that's very good. Now, how many tattoos do you have, you say? Exactly. Above the neck, that's a problem. I delivered some tubs of liquid. It wasn't hazmat, but probably needs tanker, which I have. Oh, all right. What tubs of liquid? I'm afraid to know what the tubs of liquid are going to a sewage plant. At least it's going in, I guess. I guess it's okay, because if the tubs are outbound, that's where I think we'd have a problem. What do you know about Hunt? Hunt is part of, Crete, right? Crete, Schaefer, Hunt. They're the owner-operator part of Crete and Schaefer. That's what I know about them. I was sicker than a dog when I did the second interview. Wish I'd asked more questions, but this interview is with the Maverick Safety and HR department. The hiring manager makes the final call. What are they doing? Why do you need 50 interviews to be a truck driver? Oh, my gosh. That Hurricane 1900. Oh, is it 1900 for owner-operators? I don't know. I can't imagine that. Maybe they guarantee you'll take home 1900 as an owner-operator. That's interesting. I never understood the 10-year new trailer of an '08 bought new and I take care of my equipment. They always said that it's so they don't break down on the road because, look, you take care of your equipment and have that trailer. The companies, these are almost all company trailers being dropped and hooked in there, and they're a disaster. I get some trailers now. Oh, my gosh, I had a trailer the other day. It was 20 years old. It looked like it'd been in America for 50 years. So they are not taken care of, and I think that's the problem. Once the trailer's out of sight, it's out of mind. You might have a nice older trailer, but most places don't. I've gotten some trailers that are 4 years old. I'm like, when did they make this thing? I'm like, oh, it's only 4 years old. I couldn't believe a deadhead from Wyoming all the way to California. What? I'm glad I didn't pay for that. Oh, that'd be crazy. The longest I ever did was Fontana, a city of industry, right? Basically to Oklahoma City. Went all the way across there. Had to call them. They sent it. I had to call them. I'm like, is this legitimate? Snakes on a plane are a hazard. Right. That's true. The anime trucker. Hey, Mark. Got a new job. All right. Going to be heading up tonight, working towards Columbus. They want to put an extra safety system on the owner-operator truck since I'm under your experience. What does an extra safety system mean? I'm afraid to know what that means. Maverick Logistics delivers fuel to their Maverick fuel stations only, and they advertise 100 a year. Hope that's true. My wife and I switching roles won't make sense. All right. What do other drivers say? And what does the internet say about it? Because if they're advertising it and it's not true, the first place you'll see it is on the internet. Columbia, George is Variant the highest paying company driver job right now. If you work towards getting people on and are good at it, yes, I think so. It's the highest paying company driver job I've seen, far beating the Old Dominion driver who has been the lead here for a while that have sent to me. Because the top end of it is unlimited. So as long as you continue to get people on and they stay, you don't have a limit on how much you can make. So yeah, if you're willing to go beyond driving, it is. Picking up at a sewage plant would be many loads in one tanker. Well, depends if it's one of those big fat bergs I've seen on the History Channel or whatever. Hensley's house burnt down. Him and his family lost everything. Hensley's house. The guy that's used to be on YouTube or whatever. Juan, all right. From 8 to 5, I'm waiting for a dispatch in case someone calls in sick. My fleet manager says stay on off duty, so I have hours in case I do get dispatched. If you're in the truck and you're waiting for dispatch, the FMCSA Green Book is clear. Waiting for dispatch is listed specifically as one of the things where you are on duty. Okay, and we can look that up, 392, whatever. I don't have the number exactly right here in front of me. That is listed as on duty time. Waiting for dispatch is on duty. So there you go. And you should show your fleet manager that he should pay you. You can't just stay off duty and be up and waiting. I mean, And, it depends if you like the place and stuff like that. But this is one of those things that you can kind of use and say, if you send it to them in writing, here's the rules, and are you asking me to violate my log? That's what I always ask places like that. You usually don't get an answer of yes. Tubs of Liquid, my new band's name. Tubs of Liquid. Now up, Tubs of Liquid. That's also about 3 p.m. at the manhole. He said I don't have to be on duty since I'm not under a load. And that's not how it works. Nice try. Nice try. Anyone know a good route to get up to Columbus from south that has fewer mountains? Kind of nervous about climbing mountains with a manual transmission. You got it made. What's the least mountainous route? That's interesting. Crete is dry van, Schaefer is reefer, and Hunt is flatbed. But aren't Hunt owners or no? Do you give your cat a dry bath with melted dry ice? No, I don't think she would appreciate that very much. 1900 as an owner-operator, is that 1900 per day? All I'm saying is it 1900 guarantee? That I never think about that because that place. Is it 1900 net guarantee take-home as an owner-operator? That's a possibility. I haven't seen the ad. Hunt is a flatbed division of Crete. They're a company, but probably some owners. All right, I thought Hunt was owners. All right, so it's flats there. 1900 a week is still not as good as 140,000 at Mr. P. I know they're way short of places like Mr. P and Western Express advertising 130,000. So perhaps Western Express would be a better deal than Hurricane. Do you know anything about being a truck driver for Sherwin-Williams? Yeah, they paint the world. They're advertising 95 a year for regional. They do. They had a gigantic truck at Mid-America, including the trailer in the truck show. But I don't know that much else about it. I do know you're going to need a hazmat there because of the paint. The longest bobtail I did was Chicago to Sioux City, Iowa. That's not that far, really. I mean, compared to some of these, 1,100, across the country, that's crazy. That they can't find a load anywhere in between there to go from a Midwest all the way to California. But it's okay with me. As a company driver, once they verified, go to Oklahoma City, I'm like, all right, it was a Friday. I'm like, set my time for Monday morning. I'll be ready Monday morning. And so I got out there on Sunday, parked, was ready for Monday morning. I'm going to Ukraine to haul tanks. Just need tractor endorsement. Right, that's right. That's right. Wilson, hello, Market Trucking Nation from Corsicana, Texas. Better weather than here. Cartage Studios. Does anyone else seem to loathe other truck drivers? Just seems the caliber of other drivers has really gone downhill and seem most lack manners and etiquette. Yeah, part of it is this. Okay, can we not sell these at the truck stop along with booze? I mean, this was sent in by an astute viewer. Can we not do this? I wonder how much they are, too. And they got the big ones, too, the thick ones there. Put some shoes on. Just because of what you're walking in. The extra safety system is some kind of collision avoidance tech, like they have a modern truck. Slows you down. Oh, okay. So they're adding some kind of adaptive cruise to the truck. I don't like it, personally. It's a collision. I think they call it CMS, right? Collision mitigation system. This is the one that goes off with overhead stuff. I can't imagine adding it to a truck, how good that's going to work. It's bad enough when it comes from the factory. Don't ever do this, which is there'll be a sensor in the bumper. So if you were to take and cover, take a piece of aluminum foil and wrap it around a piece of cardboard that was the size of the sensor, and then wrap that in like Gorilla Tape, and then tape it to the sensor, which is the same color. Don't do that because that would make the sensor not work and the system wouldn't work. So that's something, in case you were thinking of doing it, don't do it. Dry ice is compressed to CO2, which is really bad in confined space, like a plane. Oh, yeah, that's true, right. Got people back in the cargo dropping it in water buckets. Do you watch Bonehead Truckers? No. Where do you work? Well, that's good. I don't ever get that question, as I hear the cat crunching over there. For new people, right, I don't ever say where I work. That keeps them out of your videos. We do this every week at 12:30, and I don't think they would appreciate me, mentioning them all the time. And I also don't recruit for them. A lot of people are out here recruiting, and if you like the place, or you work at Variant or whatever, maybe you do want to recruit, but that's not what I do here, so I don't recruit for my place. So there you go. That's how we do that here. Joe, a big YouTuber, is this big in size or big in channel size? Is advertising the ambassador program to his followers. He has 400,000 followers. Wow. How much money do you think we'll make off of that? with 2 plus 1. Well, it depends how many people he gets. I mean, how much money is he making with 400,000 followers, subscribers, presumably? That's where he's making money. I mean, depending on how you're doing that, there's your money. But 400,000, I mean, what if you got one a week? Come on, or two a week. One a day. I can't imagine. If you put one person a day on, a day, that's $50 per week per person is how I figure it, that you get on there as long as they stay. So at the end of the year, you could have 250 people on. That's $7,500 a week plus what you make. Okay, that's the kind of money that's possible at that place. It's possible. Will it happen? Maybe. It can't happen anywhere else? Not that I know of. There's no upside like that anywhere else. If you wear it, make it a parrot. Always. I mean, put something on your head. What are we doing? Walking around with nothing on our heads. How are people going to know you're a driver? Plus, be sure when you're in the stall to talk really loudly about uncomfortable subjects. Schuster Travels. Are we selling tanks to Ukraine? No, they're everywhere. We don't have to. I'm very conflicted about switching stay-at-home autism parent role with my wife. If I do go back to trucking, I won't be seeing my 3 kids. I've taken care of them since they were babies. Yeah, that's correct. So you just never know. Do you want to stay home? But somebody's got to be home. I think somebody should always be home with kids, but somebody has to be home. You guys got to work that out, right? Maybe you can get a part-time job. I've seen that. Have you ever considered work, kind of you both work? Maybe she does less hours and you work for a temp service where you can come and go as you please. Dry ice will suffocate you to death. I hate suffocating to death. Or suffocating to near death. Dry ice is frozen greenhouse gas. So if we freeze all the CO2, you'll get no more global warming. All right, perfect. Why don't we just do that, and then we can have all the ice cream we want mobile. Bobtail to the manhole, there'll be more parking. Be sure to back in. I can't work for Western Express. I don't have enough big house experience. Oh, that's all right. They'll show you how to get that. Ken Advantage sent a letter to me saying $100,000 a year for Lafayette local. Oh, Keenan Advantage Group? That's the place on Veterans, which is $350 since I've been living here. They're advertising $1,500 a week on their sign out there. I just went by there. So that sign, they're only advertising $1,500 a week. So how are they doing $100,000 a year local? I'll go talk to them. Then say if it's food grade or fuel hauling. Do they haul fuel out of that place? I've never seen a hazmat tanker sitting over there. And I've never seen a Keenan at like the Circle K or anything. I will say the sign out front there says $1,500 a week, minimum. Bonnet Trucker Channel shows semi-driver stopped in a lane on the highway filming cop activity on the other side of the highway. Brilliant. That's brilliant. That's a good idea. It's Mr. Plow. Am I an attorney? Well, interestingly, I'm not an attorney, it turns out. Wow, who knew? Only on LA Law was I an attorney with Susan Day, Actress of the Year. How many countries is Trucking Answers in nowadays? We are stuck at 42 countries on the podcast. This it's harder to tell on here, so I don't exactly know how many countries the YouTube channel is touched, but the podcast is in 42 countries. Probably we're now stuck because it's been 42 for a while. Those are probably the ones that have the best internet access and English speakers. So that's what I think. Although some of them don't really have an English population. Probably some people speak English. So we're kind of stuck at 42, which is about 1/5 of the countries on the planet. I like my collision avoidance system, Roger Moore. Then again, I own the truck and cut the wires for the speaker. It does occasionally go off over overpasses, but the idea it might save me your bacon. Well, that's true. And you don't have to have the speaker part, so it's not as bad for you. But I don't like it. I mean, considering that it's going off for overpasses and signs, it shouldn't do that. I think it should be better than that. So I would rather not have that stuff and drive, really. A big house with a yard will get into Western Express. And a yard. How many gallons of paint would it take to actually cover the world? Well, we should ask Sherwin-Williams that. They have that picture of the globe being covered. Parked in a far left lane to make videos. What can go wrong? Keltridge Travels. I don't know where they get people at some of these places. Did it have a company name or was it just some Joe Schmo company? How big are the gallons? Are metric gallons. Cash is King Trucking. I'm not big on the variant recruiting multi-market levels pyramid scheme. I want my money up front, maybe like the day the person starts. Well, here's the thing. Most places do have a recruiting bonus. Many companies do for company drivers, and really I've seen it for some owner-operators, where you get an amount right away, including Variant, which gives you $2,000 the first week that the person starts, okay? Check Variant to see if this has changed. But then you also get this long-term amount so that people do stay. And so that's the upside of it. Rather than going, if you're going to change companies and say, I want to make the maximum amount of money possible, another company might give you $2,000, but then nothing more. Here you get $2,000 plus. You get this downline money that you don't get somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, the 60 cents is what everybody's advertising, stuff like that. It's not a greater deal. But for the downline money, not bad. It's an interesting way to do it. Listening to the person in the next stall talk to their boss about the low while dropping the deuce, then watch someone wash their feet in the sink. Boy, isn't trucking great? I don't know why they can't get people to come drive trucks. Boy, just that is something. That should be everybody's first day driving. You take them to a bathroom, and you have to sit in the bathroom for a few minutes and see what goes on in there and go, these are the people you're going to be working with for the rest of your life. Depends on how far you like to spread it. How thick do you want it? Plus, if it's some of those with that are one coat coverage, probably would take less. If I get the job with Maverick, they told me I won't be starting until May. Wow, this is when they'll have equipment available. Wow. All right. Well, that's good news, though, that they don't have 40 empty trucks sitting around. I do think that's actually better. Are there good paying driving opportunities in other countries, like in the Mideast? I don't know if they do that anymore like it used to be. You used to be able to go to Iraq and make good money and stuff. I haven't seen that. I can't remember the name of that company that the vice president ran. The place that would send people over there. You know what I'm talking about. They used to recruit in Houston all the time. But I don't know if they do that as much. Doty Trucking, do you still make doing better videos? Yeah, sometimes. The man owns big house training on the weekends. Nice. They'll get you ready for anything. How many countries are there total? About 210 or so, depending on which... who's counting, apparently. And if some of these countries in Africa have changed leaders in the last 15 minutes. Some of them go pretty quick. Thanks, I'm investing in sandwich grade hard cheese. Of course. John M. A Susan Day reference. That's not why I tuned in, but that's why I'm sticking around. Just keep trucking. You don't get that just on any trucking show. You don't hear about Susan Day like you should. Now, the president has more trucking experience than her, but only slightly more. Market Trucking Answers fans, you think these companies pay $130? My friend went to their orientation. They're keeping 4 people to a room, 2-bed Western Express, and they own the hotel. It's their place, too. So it costs them nothing. 4 people? Really? Are there serious? Come on now. Even CRST, when there were 4 people, there were 4 beds in the room. There is no way. Come on. Now you're pulling my gear shift now. There's 4 people in a 2-bed room. Tell your friend to take a picture of that and send it to you, and I'll post it. I got to know about that. They'll get it anonymous, just like the flip-flops. George Costanza, loaded steel coil out of Baltimore, headed to Laredo. Wow, how much does a coil weigh there? Is it one of those gigantic coils we used to pick up in Cleveland? We'd get like a 50,000-pound coil that went across to Chicago. 1,800 miles. If I can live by Friday, I'll get another load for the weekend. They have good flatbed loads out of Laredo? Or do you get to load it there? That was always the greatest thing in Laredo, going there, not dropping a trailer, but unloading there. You wanted to go to Laredo to unload, because then you were in Laredo with an empty trailer, and that was gold right there, gold, because you could go pick a load up or drop and hook, and that made a big difference getting out of there. The Russians own Europe. They own a lot of it. Maverick Logistics paid load and unloading time and mileage. We'll be loading out of Seattle and Tri-Cities and Missoula. Delivered to the Maverick service stations in Spokane. Night shift starts at 3 p.m. Nights is 3 p.m. It's still daytime. That's an early night shift. That's almost afternoons. But I guess you're done in the early morning. Nobody stays at Variant more than 90 days like most mega carriers. I don't know. This guy's got, several people down his downline that I talk to, they've been there a year. It just depends what you're there for and how it works. Look, if you got 20 people, that's $500 a week, or 1,000, right? 50. I think it's 50 a person. So 1,000 a week plus what you make. I don't think that's bad. I just feel like Variant US Express isn't going to treat these people very well, and they leave before I get a decent amount of money. Well, I think that the people that you're going to bring on at Variant are going to become Variant drivers. So they are treated better. Even all the reviews of it and stuff are better. Plus, you're going to help them, I think. I would. All right, if they had a problem, I'd be all about on the phone and saying, hey, what are you doing to this guy here? Because that's money, downline money for me, maybe thousands of dollars. So I think you're going to help, and it's going to help the whole place. Oh, Halliburton, right, 4 Wheels Down. It was Halliburton that would hire you. You could call Halliburton, and they would have you come to Houston for an interview and possibly work in Iraq or whatever. I talked to them years ago, but they're like, no, you can't bring a weapon. Your truck's not armored, and you got to kind of depend on everybody else. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like a great idea. I agree with Cash. I feel like YouTuber is scamming his followers. He never talked about his company before. Since Matt is out of the closet. I'll tell you what, with 400,000 subscribers, he's going to get some people on. So, if just a very small percentage of those people come on, it could be a huge amount of money. And I don't know about scamming him. As long as he's upfront about it, I don't know if it's a scam. He should talk about it and, bring it out like, hey, I'm going to make this money, but then when you come on, you can be an ambassador and you make money too. As long as he's upfront about it. You shouldn't tell people without telling people. That's one thing. Halliburton owned KBR. That's right. Those are the places that would hire for overseas. Dashcam Sam, what's up? Halliburton is the oil field contractor. All right. Started keto this week, Roger Moore. Ordered pre-made meals from Factory 75. Oh, sounds fancy. Factory 75 sounds like a club I used to go to in the 70s. I freeze them at home and load my truck freezer up. They're really tasty. Hey, where are you going to be? I'll be at Factory 75 tonight. 4 to 6 is the pre-evening, not afternoon. Yeah, 3 p.m. for nights is early. I don't know. It just seems early for night shift. I got to leave my house at 2 p.m. to start my night shift. I'm working a downline of people at the manhole. Oh, that does pay better. The problem is what the rewards could be. You never know what kind of reward you're going to get for that. Aviator Trucker, you'll see Western Express drivers disembarking the crack hound all shackled together. Yikes. Okay, we can unshackle you here now. I am really concerned about 4 people in 2 beds. Okay, who stays for that? How long have you been in prison where you're like, all right, this sounds like a great idea? I mean, really? If that doesn't make you walk out of the place, if that can be verified, I don't even know what to say. Dark 680, I was doing a part-time trucking job hauling chips and debris and heavy haul for basin feed. Trying to balance up my wife's work schedule on my autistic son's appointment was impossible. All right, yeah, I can imagine. I'm saying maybe a temp service where you can call in your availability. Maybe the reverse of it. Not where they give you a part-time schedule, but you sign on at a temp service and where you work out, okay, it looks like Thursday I'm going to be free. And then you can call them and say, what do you got Thursday? That kind of thing where you're more setting your schedule than somebody who sets your schedule. That would give you a lot more flexibility. Cash is a reverse ATM. You give him cash and he makes a deposit. Exactly. He's got the reverse of it. 4 Wheels Down. Would a $10,000 refundable tax credit lure anyone into trucking? I don't know. I saw that on there. I see $7,500 and up to $10,000 depending on how you get into trucking. But is that why people are going to get into trucking? I don't know. It's going to kind of replace the per diem for some people, which I think will help. Now, this is just a bill, and we know how a bill becomes law because of Saturday mornings. But it's possible that people, and it actually didn't break out company versus owner-operator. It was more or less truck drivers. So I think even owner-operators would get this. Check your tax professional for answers, but $7,500 or more tax credit is being proposed right now. This would be drivers, all drivers. Being shackled together sounds like the manhole on party nights. Yeah, right. That's true. One person has the key. Everybody gets shackled together and the lights go out. And it's called Find the Key. They don't call them twin beds for nothing. Oh my God, if they were 2 twin beds, that'd be even better. Even a place like CRST going for the gold rush, there were 4 beds in the 4-man room. Western Express Terminal probably has guards posted in towers. I do understand that the place has barbed wire around it, but they say that's to keep out criminals, so I don't know. I think you'd lure more people in the industry with free hot dogs and Pepsi. Cash King. Yeah, are you really going to lure people like this Minnesota, right? Wasn't it Minnesota, Mississippi? It's going to go home, get homeless people. What are you going to lure them with a tax credit? Hey, guy who's talking to his own toes out here. Hey, you know what? If you become a driver, we can get you a tax credit. I mean, come on. I don't think it'll certainly help the people already in the industry because any tax credit is, of course, good. But I don't know if that's a way to lure people in the industry. Did you see what the White House said today? That this is the White House. High turnover and low job quality is why there's no drivers. Wow. From the White House press room. How about that? Chris Spear probably was like, oh, I can't believe it. A 3 p.m. start time for a night shift is awesome. Sure beats 7 p.m. start. I used to do hauling cryogenic tankers in Los Angeles for the Lindy Group. It just seems like 3 p.m. is more of afternoons. You know, that's all I'm saying. I guess you could work you till 5 in the morning, but 7 p.m. would at least be more of a night shift. What do you think about Crete? They're offering 67 to 70. Yeah, Chris, that's pretty good anymore, right? Walk in at 70 cents. 3,000 miles is over $2,000 right there. Is GPT Company in there? I haven't seen him here today. Sometimes they're busy. They get people in or whatever. Hey, Mark, who's this week's sponsor of the live stream? Well, glad you asked because this week's sponsor is Oil King. That's right. Get the game from Milton Bradley and you, too, can become an Oil King. Sold everywhere that finer games are sold. It's King Oil, where you can become an Oil King. By Milton Bradley. Let's see here. Line dance at the manhole. Sometimes. Depends how you're shackled and where the shackle is. Western Express is training for team driving. I thought they did a lot of team driving. The chip hauling outfit I was working for was shady. The owner wanted me to give doctored samples to the paper mills. I don't work there long and refuse to do that. They have to have a sample? You'd think they would go grab the sample themselves. What, did they give you samples? I've never done that. Or did they just give you a cup and you have to go into a room? Don't forget the chopped onions. Yikes. The White House finally stopped saying there was a driver shortage. Stan Dodge. I couldn't believe it. White House press room, they're talking about the low supply of drivers. And they're like, yeah, high turnover and low job quality. I'm like, wow. What happened? No wonder, because Jen's not there. She's out with the COVIDs, and now she's going to get a new job. And so I think that's what happened. She used to be on top of that, and now look what happened. She's gone a couple weeks, and look at what happens. Cassis King Trucking. Can't wait until homeless people turn the truck into an opium den. Actually, everybody's on fentanyl now, so I guess it'll be fitting for all that. Yeah, I thought, who are they going to go get? Let's go get homeless people to do this, because they're people that want jobs. Honestly, the Hallmark Inn's neighborhood is full of wholesale and drug dealers. Wholesale. Oh, nice. And that's just the drivers. It's nice that the wholesale. What if you have to have a tax ID? They're like, you got a tax ID? We'll give you this wholesale. So, radiator popped his top Friday. Fixed Saturday TA. Next day, fridge dies. Yikes. Unfortunately, the fridge, we can't get that fixed right away, probably at the TA. Do they not change their fluid? That's usually what I see when people in a car have a radiator problem. They haven't changed their radiator fluid like ever. And they're like, oh, you have to change that? Yes, regularly every few years. Same with the brake fluid. Let's get that changed. Can we get our brake fluid changed? People don't know that. Change it. Roger Moore. Big thanks to Trucking Answers. Goodness, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Goodness. And that made me even lose my spot. Let's see there, but I'm going to get right back to it because you forgot to read the rest of the White House comment. It said we're also going to replace drivers with electric robots. That's probably true. Who will also have low job quality and not be lubed often enough. I hope the anime trucker. I hope everyone's just clowning on the homeless because this put them in a truck idea is stupid and not because they're homeless. I think putting them in a truck is a good idea. If people are homeless and want to drive, I'm all for it. There are programs for homeless people. I lived under a bridge for a while, all right? So I've been there. I've been super poor. I get it. But I think that, certainly offering someone a tax credit, whether they're homeless or not, is certainly not going to be like, oh, well, this is why I'm going to get into trucking for a tax credit I'm going to get next year at some point. Not good. And we're certainly not trying to clown on them, as kids would say today. I've been there. One of the training sessions at Sierra England is everyone puts their shower shoes in a pile and have 3 minutes to find the pair. Well, that sounds fun. They probably do that in the truck every night, too. Everybody, probably the trainer's like, everybody throw your pajamas in a big pile and we're going to turn off the lights. Mr. P team trains after a couple weeks. That's sad. A lot of places do this. I'm always sad about it. I don't think it's training anymore. Otherwise, why can't I team train somebody from here? If you got a dash cam that, shows the inside of the truck, why can't I do the same thing from here? And just talk to somebody in the truck. What's the difference? Sunny and bone dry in Phoenix. What a surprise. Boy, it's warm and dry in Phoenix. Okay, the bandit, the 100,000 Ukraine refugees will fill truck spots. Okay, Ukrainian refugees, look, maybe they would take the job. Anybody who's here legally and can work here legally, I think can work. Diversified wood recycling would handpick wood samples, dry them in a microwave oven, and soak the actual log fuel with fire hose to cheat the customer with quality and weight. That's a total scam. So they don't go get it right out of the stuff they're getting. The place has to send a sample. I mean, that's ripe for scamming. Then they want you in on it. That's why my paper and paper products aren't any good. He said doesn't want to share 3 to a room. Western said pay your own room, or you'll be making $400 a day. Nice. I don't want to share. I need some kind of verification. Can you write in and send a picture? I mean, there's no way they put 4 people in a 2-bed room. I wouldn't want to share the room with anybody, much less. He's not sharing a room; he's sharing a bed. Hey, how you doing? All right, what's going on with this? That's getting a little bit close now. I go to the manhole to get my fluid changed. Oh, sometimes it's complimentary there by the chiropractors that also do DOT physicals. Cash King Trucking. Goodness, thank you. Hit the like button, you scallywags. I appreciate that. KBR Worldwide used to hire in Iraq. Yeah, they would run ads everywhere. You could just call them up, basically. You had to go to Houston for an interview, and you could get on. But they're like, no gun, no armor, no nothing. I'm like, why do I not get a weapon? Oh, well, you're not in the military. I'm like, well, I don't care. Sorry, I meant not wholesale. Autocorrect doesn't like rude talk. Got it. Got it right. Roger buys Wieners today. Absolutely. KBR is still hiring for Log Cap 5. Oh, they have very limited positions. Once we pulled out of Afghanistan, that pretty much ended the need for truck drivers. Well, that's disappointing. Now those drivers got to come back here. Cheap plastic epoxy tanks on rent, just like cars. KLM pays a flat rate of $1,700 weekly, so they have a flat rate. Usually I see a guarantee. Some places, Myborg, somebody wrote about that too. They're running a $100,000 salary ad, where that's what you get every week. What do you think about just a flat $100,000 as a company driver? What do you think? Patrick thought I said I quit. Oh, somebody didn't watch to the end of the video. That was on April 1st that video came out. April 1st. You probably do better job training via camera than some of the trainers do in person, Kelly. Yeah, I think we could all probably just do better by camera. Everybody on here, right? If you're sleeping, that's no different than me doing it watching the camera. Really? I don't think that, I don't consider it training. It shouldn't be considered training. The problem is there's no requirements for any training. So they're not doing anything wrong. We can't get them on that other than it's wrong. You left on April Fool's Day. I did, but I came back the day after April Fool's Day. Definitely not clowning on the homeless. Lots of the homeless have drug problems and mental health issues. You already got enough of that in trucking. That's true, too. Yeah, we don't need any more of that. They could have 2 beds and 2 cots, Joan. Oh, they could. Who gets the bed? How do you fight for the bed? Do you Rochambeau it? How does that work at Western? Most bullet scars? I mean, longest record? If the Gary, if the driver gets caught giving false samples of the hog fuel of the paper mill, the truck driver is financially liable for the load while the owner denies liability. Oh, dark. No, because they think you're the one tampering with it. Sweet. So they put it on you. Forget that. I'm with you. You have a big spoon or a small spoon? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Maybe at midnight we turn over. I don't know. I found your April Fool's video just interesting. Casking trucking. De-stressing. All right. We got a new law in New York State, John. No more loud mufflers or lack of mufflers. Sorry, Harley morons. Well, loud pipes save lives, right? That's what it says on all the bumper stickers. And these 10-inch straight pipes off these gigantic cat engines, right? The anime trucker, someone who worked for Western, it's just 2 to a room, a bed for each. New company gave me my own nice, high-quality hotel room. You should certainly have your own room. Nobody should have to share a bed. I mean, that would be unthinkable. There are other government contractors that are hiring abroad, but none of them None of the known truck driver companies have a need for drivers, and the pay isn't worth it. One could make 75 to 80 in the U.S. So if that's all they're paying there, forget it. I'm not going to go get shot at for that. I can get shot at here for that. Remember Maverick guaranteeing 1,000 a week? Yeah, we thought that was a good deal at 1,000. I still would like 1,000 guarantee. I think that's better than nothing. Some places have nothing, and people will write to me with a $500 check, and that's where at least 1,000 guarantee. That comes in handy on a week that you have a lot of problems. So at least some kind of guarantee is better than no kind of guarantee. Women would be good there, not many women. Yeah, that'd be anywhere. Any truck driving job. If you walk in, there's hardly any women. The most women I see were at the truck show, and that's because they were there with a guy or advertising some product. That's it. You just don't see them. Sleep on hay with my sheep. I get bad sleep. That'd be better than some of these. Look, even Sierra England puts 3 beds in their truck, so everybody gets their own bed. I just cannot fathom 2 to a bed. They having 2 pullouts in the room, I guess. So you do have to fight for the bed. And I don't know which would be better. Sleeping on the bed that they give you or the pullout bed? I cannot imagine. The New Jersey fuel price protest fizzled out. Those guys said they're breaking even. Are your owner operators just breaking even? So they get a $2,000 load and it costs them $2,000 of fuel. And remember, $2,000 of fuel will get you 600, 500 gallons, depending, 400 gallons of fuel. That should get you 2,000 miles, 2,500 miles. So people are there 80-cent loads out there? I will refuse to work at a place if they don't give me my own hotel room cartage. I totally agree with you. I'm like, what is this, 1960? I'm not in Boy Scouts. Okay, I get my own room. And I'm not paying the other half of the room or whatever. They're going to give you your own room. But I do think all that should be discussed up front. Am I getting my own room? Kelly, at my current job, they gave me a private room at the La Quinta and suites, pool, inn and suites, right? Pool, hot tub, weight room, and so on. It's absolutely, right? Here's a room, and it's your room. You don't get, you might get a roommate later. No, we're not going to do that. Stand out. Just said pull out. Exactly. You got to watch for that stuff. Oh, JB Hunt, Swift, and Schneider, you know what they're buying? A bunch of containers. Are you ready for that? They're buying thousands and thousands of containers. They're going to switch their operations over to containers. Scott, real high from Highway 35 East in Ohio. What's going on out there? Is it going good? Are you playing King Oil? Maybe that's better. I shouldn't click things. Okay. We can't hear you. Why I'm back. All right. It's a new business model where everyone has to sleep together to prevent idling and no need for an APU. Everybody just huddle it up. It's highly efficient, reduces emissions, and saves the company money. That's awesome. I prefer it with no sound. That's true. Maybe I should, you know what I'm considering doing? The podcast without sound. I'm considering doing the podcast sound free. And so not only will you not have to see me, you also won't have to hear me. It should be an interesting podcast. I may try that on the next podcast. No sound and no viewing me. So I think that's pretty good. The sound crashed harder than a speeding super trucker on black ice. That's super good. That's super good. My Betamax is acting up. Boy, I thought that was going to win, too. I really did. I did think it was going to win. Let's see here. So they bought a bunch of these containers, and they said they're going to go to more regional and local work at JB Hunt, Swift and Schneider. Is that where the industry's going? Will everybody be working there someday? I wish Gracie would host a live. She's there sometimes. You know, she's, where'd she go off to today? I don't know where she went off today. She's in the back somewhere. My kids would love it. No sound on the podcast like Deadpool. Vanisher. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the thing to do. Maybe one of the podcasts will be sound free. And that would be just like, I don't know, that might not be bad. I'll consider doing that. I know they advertise. I know JB Hunt runs ads constantly around here because they have a big thing in Indianapolis where they can go home daily in Indianapolis. They run a ton of day cabs, running containers, and that's what Schneider and Swift are doing now. You're going to see a lot of this stuff that was on the road go to this, so that the road part can either go on a train or by an automated truck. Absolutely. In Business Insider also has an article. They interviewed some people, and it said, truck drivers don't want to drive for mega carriers anymore due to poor working conditions. I thought, wow, everybody's getting on the same page on this. That's in Business Insider from Grace, who has talked to me before. She didn't talk to me about this one, but did talk to me in the past about stuff like that. And so they're running another article about that. Maybe we're going to see some changes in the industry. If the White House is all about it, maybe we can get something done. What kind of trucking jobs are temp schedules like you were describing? I've never seen that outside of Uber. Well, no, if you sign up for a temp service, they provide drivers on an as-needed basis at companies. And so Transforce and these other services, a company says, okay, you know, we got somebody off. Can you give us a driver? And so then they'll say, hey, this company needs a driver today. You know, and if you're available that day, you go work that day. That's what I'm saying. So trucking temp services, Transforce, stuff like that, possibly could put you on as a temp, and then you'd work on your schedule. And some companies, some larger local companies, have people who are sort of on call but no benefits. Now, so you'd have to consider that. But usually they'll be on call, and you can set your schedule, so it works out good for you like that too. George Costanza, I'm headed to Kiwi Brothers on the 25th. Kiwi Brothers, I never heard of them. Because I have a dog, they're going to put me in my truck from the start. Meltner's a great company. I'm going to try something new. Yeah, if we're not growing, then we're just stagnant, right? What does Kiwi Brothers do? I've never heard of the place. 8-track is where it's at. I collect 8-tracks that used to come into cars when they were new. People don't. That's a little fun fact about Mark. You should pre-record trucking answers for next year's April Fools. Do it in black and white where you speak without sound and then the words pop up in the next screen like old-time movies. Oh, that's very good. That's very good. I could be, yeah, that's good. A railroad track rolls along. Oh, what about logs? Being a temp. It wouldn't be any problem. You'd fill a log out for the day you work. And so the next day, if you don't work, you don't come in for 3 days. When you come in, you'd hand them a 3-day off-duty log, right? And then fill out a log when you go back to work. That wouldn't be any problem at all. You could certainly log it legally. Finishing up my college semester looking for a spotter job at NFI. Trying to stay off the road. They have them. There's spotter jobs everywhere. I will tell you, spotter jobs here in Lafayette, there's just one this weekend. I'm looking at jobs all the time. $20 an hour, not NFI. It said spotter, $20 an hour. Indy, you can do better. $25 to $27 an hour spotter plus overtime. That's not terrible. That could be $2,000 depending on how many hours you work. So a larger city is going to be pretty helpful for that. It's certainly possible. Transfers requires 5 years. Really? Who needs 5 years experience? Wow. All right. Well, how much experience do you have? That might be a problem at a temp service. Temp service, yeah, and the more experience you have at different kinds of trailers and stuff, the better off you'll be there because you can fill in tanker, you can fill in, do all these different things. 421, I work at Western and made $120 per year off every weekend and other great things. Western International Gas is a decent place. You know, see, Western does pay that much. That's what they're advertising. It just says Western at Western Express. They mean other Westerns. No, they go any other Western but this one. We had 2 guys quit orientation because they didn't want to wait for a long-nosed Pete but had to drive a Freightliner. Really? Come on, where are they going to go? Hurricane, I guess. Look, that kind of thing, I just never understand that about company drivers, I guess. I mean, I guess if there's something you want, I guess don't accept what you don't want. But I never saw the truck as something like is a problem, as long as the truck they're giving me is safe. Especially if you say to them, hey, I want one of those Pete's, and they go, yeah, drive this for a little bit and we're going to give you a Pete. I'm okay with it. They have a guarantee there and everything. That's crazy. To quit, go to orientation, then quit. On Central Time, SI was a half hour late out of a truck now. SI, Tucker Hershey. Thank you, Mark, about the temp schedule truck driver information. I will definitely look into it. Yeah, at least take a look at it. See if you're in Spokane, that's a big enough city. There should be temp services. Call them and say, what can we do about a schedule here? Can I set my own schedule? It's worth checking into anyways. So let me know what they say. Yeah, they sound like whiny crybabies. Can you imagine the problems like that? Oh, I'm not driving a Cascadia for 2 months. Smith used to have 10 years experience. Oh my gosh. 10 years. I've never seen that. 10 years experience. That's crazy. They probably don't have that now. I don't see that anywhere now. I think the 5 years, if they're Transforce is running 5 years experience, that's a lot of experience. Well, check out Transforce. I had 20 years experience and pulled everything with the exception of flatbed. See, so somebody like you would be good at a temp service because you can fill in here and then another company calls for tank and then they call for van and that. You can do all that stuff. So you're valuable in the industry as somebody that can just fill in if they'll work with you on a schedule. And there's more than Transforce. It's the one I'm thinking of now. They have more than that. There are a lot of these kind of temp services that have fill-in drivers. Mark, didn't Mark quit JB Hunt because he didn't get a conventional truck but got a cab over? I did. Years ago, that is true. That's true. That's a whole different thing in which they promised something at the beginning that they didn't deliver. Now, I don't know what Smith promised, but they promised one thing and then they lied. And I'm like, what else are we lying about? So if I go there and they go, this is what you're going to get, and then you show up and they go, oh, no, nobody gets that start. All right, now what other kind of problems are we going to have at this place? That's one thing. But if you go and they tell you up front, you drive this truck and then 2 months later, we'll give you a truck and then you quit. I think that's a different thing. I will say if Smith promised them the day you start, you will get a long-nosed Pete and they didn't get it, that's one thing because then you got to think, is this place going to lie to me? So we don't know what they got told. So you should always ask those questions in advance, certainly. Smith Transport is 1 year required now. Yeah, that's better. I had 6 or 7 trucks when I worked at Mr. P because there's so many breakdowns. That's terrible. Why are they not fixing those rocks? Get it in writing, Mark, you're not a dirty spokesperson. Always get it in writing. Get this stuff up front. So they were changing to conventionals and said, oh, yeah, you're going to get a conventional, right? You get a conventional. And then I get there and they're like, no, you don't get a conventional. All right, now we're getting lied to. Now that's a problem. That's a problem. Oreos or Chips Ahoy? Soft batch. Soft batch. With Transforce, do you always have to work? I don't think so. I mean, I don't work at Transforce, but I would think a temp service is just that, temp. So if you always have to work, it's not really a temp. You're permanent. So you should be able to go in and say, I'm available these days. What do you have? And maybe they have some kind of fill-in work. Smith says you can have what you want when it becomes available. All right, well, see, if they're up front like that, then you go in and they don't have the truck, that's on you. I think if you go in advance and say, I want a long-nosed Pete, and they go, you will absolutely get a long-nosed Pete, you should get a long-nosed Pete because they should honor what they said. Just like JB Hunt, who says, hey, you're going to get a conventional. And then they say, no, you're not going to get a conventional. Then we have an issue. We got a real issue then. Because where's the next lie? The next lie, I guess I could have been around hauling their containers around, really. The truck leasing task force is going to start here in a few days. They're going to start requesting people, and I'm going to try to sign up for it. I'll tell everybody how to sign up for it. I think they want 25 people in the industry. There'll be different industry people. I think it'd be great to get on like a federal task force like that. I don't know that I will, but where you'll meet Zoom meetings and talk about truck leasing and how it's a fleece at a lot of places. There are people that are leasing a truck who are purportedly, owner-operators that have more rules than I have as a company driver. So uniforms and all this other kind of goofy stuff, stupid stuff like that, and they're buying the truck. There shouldn't be all these rules on someone if they're independent, if you're really independent. Oreos are Hydrox. Hydrox are like the Aldi of Oreos. That's how I see those. If you're a rehire that did good work and you ask for a specific truck, you will get it. All right. I always recommend people never go back to a place that they leave. If you leave, don't go back there. There's a reason you left. That's why your windshield is huge and your rear view mirror is small. Don't look back. There's too many other places. Once you leave a place, leave it in the past. Aviator Truck, I used to work at the thermostat company when I was a temp. Nice. What does a leasing task force do? Dylan, it's going to be a federal task force that's going to look into truck leasing in the industry, on how drivers are treated, how the leases are, what they say in them, what kind of things are put on the driver and what are put on the company, and basically whether they're even legal in the industry to do to people, or are companies just passing off their costs onto drivers by leasing them a truck and, but not really fulfilling that dream of a driver being an owner operator. The current administration is against them. Get a KWAP or W9. Yeah, I got it. As long as you get it up front. The bad thing about temp work, you'd not be knowing what equipment you'll be driving or working. You would get the crap no one else wants. Well, it depends. I don't know about that. If a company, say somebody calls off sick, then it's their truck that's available, right? So you'd go in and fill in and you'd probably be driving their truck. That's what I think. That's how I think it works each day or whatever. So I don't know. Probably any temp service would be like any place else. You probably wouldn't have to drive equipment that isn't safe or whatever. But maybe it's their number one driver who's been working there 60 years and he's got like every 3 weeks he gets a new truck or something. So maybe you get to drive the best truck that they have. I don't know. George Costanza, how's it legal for a company that you're leasing a truck from to take part of the fuel surcharge? If you're buying the fuel, you should get 100% of it. You should, unless the contract says different, because now we have a contract situation because you've determined that, hey, I don't want to be an employee. I want to be independent. So now we have to work on a contract because now we're our own business. So if it says you get 90% of the fuel surcharge and you agree to it, I think that's what you should get. You agree to it. All right, we get what we accept. So if you accept less than 100% of it, you accept less than 100% of it. They did talk about making that a law a while ago that they have to pass it on. Kind of permit. Do I need to keep tigers in Indiana? I'm trying to be the new Joe Exotic. I think there's some available, right? Those, of course, should not be kept. They are wild animals. Hydrox are much better than Oreos. No. Hydrox are no comparison to Oreos. Oreos delicious. Hydrox are like the off-brand of them. Kitris J Transport. Thought you should know Emmett loves dropping a load using a shower credit listening to Trucking Answers. Well, we appreciate that. Sometimes you got to burn those unlimited credits off, especially, at the beginning of the month here. Is this politically correct world you can no longer say big block, have to say engine of size? Yes, we can't, and it has to be in liters because we don't want to embarrass the smaller engines. The Girl Scouts, I think that's what they're called. I'm not a biologist. Yeah, if you're not a biologist, I don't know what you're doing. Are selling cookies. Watch out for Cash is King Trucking. Right, I'm always over there. Look, if they're selling them, I'm out buying them. Midlife Trucker Tom Bell. Goodness, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's good to see you here today. That's awesome. Seems like the industry is slowly getting better in some places. Yeah, I think so. Some of this stuff like this, Prime especially, has got to be a little nervous about a task force where they're going to examine some of this stuff. And so a lot of these other companies, some companies require a driver-facing camera for owner-operators. They require it. Okay, how does that work? They require a speed limiter on a truck that you own. How does that kind of thing work? I don't agree with any of that personally. If you're paying, they require that you run the APU. You can't idle your truck. I've seen that in contracts. You can only have a certain idle percentage. You are buying the fuel. Run it all you want. They are sick, and you're going to get sick too. They are sick, and you're going to get sick too. From Girl Scout cookies? Or whatever they are. I mean, I'm not going to determine what they are. Wilbon 1879. My friend Steven just called me, said Western Express, a recruiter, Muhammad, lied to him. Oh. He called the supervisor and she said it's all wrong. I said he pulled the car salesman pitch. Exactly. Let me call my supervisor and check that out. Did you serve in the military? Yeah, 98 Charlie. Right, military intelligence analyst. Midlife Trucker Tom Bell, Wiener tax cent. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. He's in orientation in San Bernardino. Tell him to get a picture of 4 people and 2 beds. Okay, I got to see that. And just the room and stuff. Hydrox is a terrible name for a treat. It didn't seem like a great name, too. Here, have a Hydrox. I'm like, ugh. I just got rid of Hydrox. I just went to the doctor last Tuesday. Me and Myra, I left Smith once because pay was sliding scale, which I hate, but they upped the pay to 48 cents. I got a call, asked if I wanted to come back, and I said yes. If I get a new truck, and got it in writing and got a brand new Pete. See, so they agreed to it, so you got it. So good deal. I'm still just not one to go back. You know, I think you leave, and so you just move on to other opportunities. Michael Swift, I had a hard time getting YouTube up. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Why do dealerships have such big U.S. flags? It's kind of like on Family Guy when he went to the Chinese laundromat. If you remember that episode, he goes, I don't know which one it is. And one's called Laundry or whatever. And then, yes, big American USA Laundry or whatever. That was the Chinese laundromat. It had flags and stuff all over it. You know, they're trying to just be the biggest flag or whatever. Formaldehyde gumdrops are the best. Are those a Hydrox product too? When I first saw your channel on the roller winners, I thought you were referring to Werner Enterprises. No. Walmart trans used to require 10 years. That's crazy. With no gaps, but now they will hire anyone because they can't keep drivers. Never thought Walmart would become just like the crap OTR companies out there. You know, they ought to wonder, they had a big thing at the truck show too. Why do they have such a tough time getting drivers when they have really a relatively good, relatively good thing in the industry? You know, not bad, really. Even if you're wearing these from Hebron, Indiana. From the flip-flop carousel. Crazy. And Walmart is one of the first places I've seen, and one of the only ones that pays you to sleep in the truck. It's $30 or something, right? $35 if you have to take a 10-hour break, I think, in the truck. That's not terrible. They did away with their phone policy, so now you can talk on the phone as long as you have a headset, which is the way it should have always been. Stuff like that. So, I mean, it's getting better there. From what I understand, there are not that many people that slip seat now. There is a little slip seating, but not that much anymore. That's better. Midlife Trucker, I'm only 2 subscribers from hitting 1,000. It's just a milestone. All right. You'll get a little notification from YouTube as well. So that's pretty awesome. Specialized Trucking. And by the way, you're in the top couple, 2-3% of channels then. When you get to that, according to YouTube. Most people don't get to it because they quit. Because the first 1,000 super difficult. It takes a long time. People don't watch. It's just you and, your parents or friends or whatever. Yeah, so getting to 1,000, that's pretty awesome. Gary, Specialized Trucking is the future to avoid big carrier load hogs. Dumps, walking floors, partial loads, hot shots, improvise, overcome, and adapt. Specialized, that's pretty good too. I had a floor, they used to have a pump on the side of the trailer and wheels, rollers come up, a roller floor. When I went to the airports, and these big cookie sheets would just roll out. You just pulled up to the dock and pumped up the floor, and they all just rolled right out of the trailer. I was 11, bravo, back in the day. Thank you for your service. Sua spontane. I served here in the United States, so I'm not sure what that means. So, the price of roller winners is going up. I know. Everything is up. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, only 2 for $333. What's happening? Forget a 2-week notice. I'm not going back. I wouldn't get the same courtesy, Doty. I agree. In most cases, there's no point to giving a notice. Companies like it. It's certainly not legally required. They won't give you 2 weeks if they fire you, so I'm not huge on it. Depends what you're doing, if you ever think you're going to go back. But otherwise, what's the point of it? And from some people that I get, they'll write in, they've given a 2-week notice, and they get fired on the spot. Or they brought their truck back. Or the other side of it, they don't get back. So they're on the road and give a 2-week notice, and they can't get back. Aviator Trucker, working as a math teacher, teaching subtraction really makes a difference. Wow. Wow. Goldfish or Cheez-Its? Cheez-Its. George Costanza, Cheez-Its. Goldfish are no match. Goldfish are for kids. Million Mile, I think I made a good choice for sticking with Smith Transport. Pay seems like getting better every 2 years. Look, they have nice trucks, and the pay is crazy there. That from what just a few years ago, nobody would have thought of, what if we'd have put this up 2 years ago? Nobody would have even believed it. Just 2 years ago. Nobody would have believed it. Where you can get this kind of money, guaranteed money. And the truck, really. But Smith's always had nice trucks. But nobody would have believed the pay. And now people are like, oh, okay, yeah, $93,000. Yeah, that can happen. Those sandals look sweet. Aren't those nice? Boy, if you head up to Hebron, apparently they have a big display, and this could possibly be in every Flying J. I've asked this astute viewer to check every single Flying J in the United States, so I'm waiting to hear back. It may take a little while. Walmart. Okay, George H.W. Bush, it's $42 sleep in the truck. I knew it was something like that. Okay, so if you sleep in the truck, it's $42. That's unusual. I mean, how many places are giving you money to sleep in the truck? Unusual. Midlife trucker, 40 to sleep in the truck at Walmart, but you can't leave the truck. What do you mean leave it? I'm concerned now because of the door thing. You can't leave the truck, meaning like if you're at your house or you just have to sleep in the truck. Actually, Nabisco copied the idea from Hydrox. Tweaked the recipe and had faster manufacturing set up in the 30s. All right, well, they did a good job, Decamp, because Hydrox, just the name is not a great name. Let's sell Hydrox. I mean, Oreo is a much better name and a much better product. Now what they must have got bought up by some private equity firm because there's 50 million different flavors. Okay, just stick with what we know. Stick with the name you know. Alex M, what's up, Mark? Hope all is well. Great, doing great. Just picked up in Granite City. All right, Illinois-Missouri border. Heading home with this load near Chicago. Surf from walking around all through St. Louis. Where do you live near Chicago? All right, are we old time neighbors possibly? Anybody that hasn't done the Gateway Arch, St. Louis is a must do. I thought they have a trolley or whatever that takes you to the top. You don't have to go up there. When is the DOT check next week? Is there a check next week for the DOT? Next week, I've got May being road check, right? May 17th to 19th. Are we doing something next week that I missed something? Crystal or White Castle? Oh, White Castle. I mean, the original Crystal is not even in the same thing at all. No way. Slip seat was always a bad idea. Don't slip seat a sleeper. I mean, even before all of this went on. Hydrox also made great raisin cookies that look like crackers. All right, well, I don't know about that. Unleavened bread cookies. I was a 13 field artillery officer. All right, that's pretty nice. A lot of people out here military. Great. Whataburger. Oh, yeah, I can't get those here. I can get a White Castle. Another fun fact about Mark, after I got married, my wife and I and the wedding party, which consisted of 2 more people, went to White Castle here, and I did film it. I have it on videotape somewhere. We got married at the courthouse initially, right? And then the wife wanted to get married at church later, so we did. But initial marriage was at the courthouse, and we went to White Castle. And it was cold. I remember it was like 10 or 15 below zero or something that day as a temperature. Super cold because we're married in February. So we went to White Castle. It's no longer there. Disappointing. The tour we lasted longer than the White Castle did, so, which is true. What is it now? It's a mattress store. That's right. It's a mattress store and Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is over there. That's a fun fact about Mark. When I worked in this case, I'm ever a question on Jeopardy. When I worked at Waste Management, I sped down the landfill while pretending on the phone. All the bouncing made the camera go off. I made sure I had no chance to go back. Worst job I've ever had. Nice. Waste Management had the cleanest garbage truck I ever saw at the Mid-America Truck Show. It had to be brand new. Their ads here are classic. They run ads a lot for drivers. Not at home every day. It doesn't say what it pays. You may be exposed to sights and smells that are, I don't know if it says unsettling, something to that effect, right? That and you will. Most trucks do not have air conditioning, but they may have a dash-mounted fan. May. No one believes I make 6 digits, midlife trucker, and went home 104 days. See, that's the thing. That's the thing about a lot of places that are paying really good money now, is it's true, and you can't convince people, and that's trucking's own fault because they've been so bad at paying people and just lie. Let's just be honest. Most of the recruiters are liars, just straight out lie to you, and so now nobody believes them. So now you have the harder time of convincing people of the truth. We have to get people much easier to believe a lie than the truth. So it's way harder for you to convince people that you get all these days off and still make great money. Thanks for showing my truck on your show. Oh, is that your truck? Oh, that's pretty good. You're quite welcome. It looks good. I didn't know it was your actual truck. Because this card was sent to me by Smith. So, absolutely. Right? So they sent me this whole thing here that they added in there. So there you go. It looks good. It does look good. I like it. And look, and if they're buying the fuel, I'm in for it. I hate slip seat, and that's one thing I didn't like about Walmart is that you don't have assigned trucks and you slip seat sleepers. Dark 680. They did say that they don't do that much anymore. They try to do that as little as possible. And really, I mean, to be honest, they shouldn't be slip seating a sleeper truck for a company. Nobody's going to want to do that. You're going to have to come in especially now of all times. They can't go and say, which they do on their ads. Oh, we go through all the sanitation and cleaning, and then they slip seat a sleeper truck. I mean, come on. Oh, what a wiener. Walmart pays $42 per night, midnight trucker, but it's only paid if they stay in the truck, can't go to a hotel or on the town. All right, so if you're sleeping like somewhere, though, you get $42, which is unusual in the industry. Not a lot of places pay you to stay in the truck. So no hitting the club, though. Wait for Loves to sell armor helmets with shower shoes. They should have metal shower shoes. So distracted driving blitz in Ohio this week. Here's the thing, right? Wear a headset. Always get something on your head, right? Get that Blue Parrot or something up there. Simple. And watch what you're doing. There's so many of these accidents out there. Every week we read about another accident where there's 50 trucks, 40 trucks. Pay attention. Su Sponti, which I thought was a wine, means of their own accord and was the motto of my old military unit. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. All right. I thought it was like the sister of Asti. Spumante. Don't stick jelly beans in your ears, please. Trolley takes you up after I walked and checked out the rest of St. Louis on foot. Oh, okay. I'm like, you don't have to climb to the top of the arch, do you? How did that go? Those things are like 80 years old. So was that scary, or do they seem to be doing good at it? WB rocks. Nice. Hydrox sells. Sounds like the name of a drug. Yeah, it's just, they need to do something with the name. Midlife Trucker, I just bought a folding e-bike to bring out in the truck. I'm looking to have more adventures to video for my channel. Yeah, e-bikes is the next big thing. The folding ones don't have as big a battery, right? But it should be great for somebody on a truck. Especially since you can just plug the battery in the truck. John Harper, I don't like White Castle. You're a weirdo. There is no reason not to like White Castles. They're some of the best burgers in the world. I go for the double cheeseburger deal there. They are super great. And we went there after we were married. And on anniversary, the wife gets White Castles in the correct number of our anniversary. And the thing, see, that's where you guys don't think. You're buying your wives these huge gifts for anniversary and stuff. Think. So you go to White Castle when you're married. Every year you can bring White Castles home. So you're married 3 years, 3 White Castles, $1. You have a $1 gift that is very thoughtful. Okay, because it is the thought. On gifts, it's the thought. So 10 years. What are they, 69 cents now or something like that? $7. You're in. Last year, right? I'm still in for $15 for a wedding gift. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's still the thought, and now it's the thought. Every year, right? Think about this. You got to think ahead. Got to be thinking long term. All right? Can't be spending thousands of dollars on gifts. Crazy. My friends in Oklahoma met working at a Pizza Hut and were married in the dining area. That's pretty good. I wonder if they had a buffet there, because then everybody can just eat at the buffet. An e-bike sounds great. I'll be sure to watch. Yeah, let's get these. This is the next big thing. Then they sell way more e-bikes than electric cars. White Tower was the best. Oh, yeah. The copy. They got sued out of existence. Million Miler, my son is doing ROTC for the Marines. All right. I worked private security for the 11th Regiment that had 7159 Aviation and 2 and 66 Apache Corps in Germany. We'll go along with that. In Germany. That's awesome. If people don't go in, nobody remains free. Somebody's got to go. The Animated Trucker, hey Mark, have you ever seen the channel Angry Chops? Angry Cops. Oh, I feel like you'd like his sense of military humor. No, I haven't. Angry Chops actually sounds like a good channel too. Sounds more of a pork kind of thing. But yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I had a military wedding. Well, just say there were a lot of shotguns there. Hey, you guys get in there. Get married immediately. A Waste Management had a nail go through my foot during a rainstorm. That was scary. I also got hit with scabies. Ew. Yikes, how big are they? E-bike, contact Lewis Rossman. And I took a picture, I took the picture for Smith. Oh, so it's your picture that they added to a card? That's pretty good. Rule number 1 in trucking, every truck driver is completely George Costanza, and that's the problem, right? That's the problem of recruiting. Even if you're telling the truth, hey, I made 100,000 and it was off all these days, people are like, no way. People just don't believe it because they've been lied to so much. That's the downside of it. And that's what trucking has brought on itself. Look, when you go in a car dealer, you immediately know you're going to be lied to. And that trucking brings us on. Louis Rossman videos are addictive. I'll take your word for that. Chainmail on night helmets with your flip-flops that's sold at your local Loves and a free shower. How does Walmart know you're in the truck and didn't get an Uber to the hotel, Million Miler? I'm concerned. That's why I was saying, their sensors, they can know when the door opens. They could. Although you could say you went in the truck stop. I don't know. Camera? Cheeseman pays us $100 and gets a hotel room for $34. That's true, right? So we should mention that. There are companies doing this kind of stuff, like at Cheeseman, where you get $100 in a motel for if you're out on a 34 break. That's rare too, where they don't even make you stay in the truck. Here's some money and a room for you. That's really good. And that's how you keep people. Little stuff like that. It doesn't cost that much. Not that many people use it, but well worth it. When they need it, bingo. You're like, oh, this place is great. I can actually relax, hotel or whatever. They say always have something on your head at the manhole. That's true. You should wear your chainmail there. Hydroxy cut cookies. So we can mix two things together. Two great tastes that taste great together. I've heard many a tall tale at the iron skillet. Rule number 1 always applies. George Costanza. Yes. So a driver's trying to recruit you at the truck stop. You think he's lying. You just automatically think he's lying, and that's too bad. But it'd be the same if you called a recruiter. You think they're lying too. So how do you get the truth? Military eyeglasses are birth control glasses. Fortunately, I didn't need glasses then. Crystal by far better than White Castle? No. They can't just have people come in because they got a fancy name tag in the shape of a hamburger. Okay, that's not enough to get people in there. As I've always said, no driver shortage, just a shortage of pay. Some companies are learning that driver needs to be paid. Finally. All right, and those are the ones that have a waiting list that have much difficult, more time getting on there. And once even the government, if they say low job quality and high turnover is a problem, and now we get the government saying it, look, there was a task force a couple weeks ago that came out with 60 things to improve trucking. One of them was eliminate the minimum wage and overtime for drivers, the exemption, so that drivers have to be paid for their time. That was one of the suggestions. Oh my gosh, companies must be shaken everywhere. White Castles are great for cleansing. They're a known cleanser as well. For people that haven't had them, go down with $10 to your local White Castle. You won't have to buy that kombucha stuff they sell at the health food store. Your company gives $27.50 to sleep in the truck. That's an unusual amount, but that's something. Crave cases for a wedding reception. Well, there were only 4 of us, and back then, getting married back then, it wasn't that expensive, but you could do that. You could do it. You can get 100 case there now. 100 case. Thank you again for your information on temp service like Transforce and input about Maverick. I really appreciate it and love the channel. God bless everyone. Well, thank you for being here. I do try to help, and that might be an option for somebody like you, maybe. Let me know what they say. No buffet. They should have a White Castle buffet. Porn has Oreos too. Variant? That's a different channel. Are White Castles considered vegan? They actually have Impossible Meat White Castles. McDonald's burgers used to be 25 cents, but that was the 60s. Culture Rooster Travels. Yeah, I don't remember that. I do remember 19-cent White Castles. People get arrested for getting married in church, but not in court. Do they get arrested for getting married in church? Did you get married by justice of the peace? Yeah, to start with a judge, right, in the courthouse here. First marriage, but then married at Catholic Church, St. Anne Catholic Church down here in Lafayette, Indiana. Father Z married us down there. But initially, official wedding date is Justice of the Peace, who was a judge who's not there anymore, I don't think. I don't remember his name. Just saw a step deck with container on it and a tarp load on top of the container. Nice. So he's got a shorty container so he can put something on top of it. Hey, that's an owner-operator that's thinking outside the container box, right? Dark 688, got to get back to my family. We're getting ready to spend spring break in Glacier National Park. That's sweet. Need to pack. Heading to Montana. We have an Airbnb reserved with a hot tub. Oh, that'd be nice. If that hot tub, if it's all snowy and you have to run out to the hot tub, that's going to be great. I hope you enjoy that. There's no reason a good driver can't make $90,000 a year. Yeah, with a little looking around and finding a good place, somebody with some really 1 to 2 years experience now can get $90,000 anymore at most places, which is really something compared to just a few years ago. 65, we'd have been saying is good money. Because recruiters lie, show every pay statement on my channel, Midlife Trucker. Yeah, that's the only way to get around it, right? Because otherwise, everybody's lying about it. Oh, I make $3,000 a week, right? Nobody believes it. You actually have to show it. If your beef does not pork, you're a vegan. Yikes. Truck driver need to have affirmative action in place so more minorities can get guaranteed jobs. Dan L. I think a minority can get, which I don't like, people being called a minority in America anymore because of equal opportunity, but certainly just go apply. It doesn't matter what race or sex that you've been determined to be by a biologist or anything else in America. We'll take everybody. Okay, and pretty much most truck driving jobs, I don't think they look at that. I just don't think so anymore. You can just go get a job. How much experience does Cheeseman require a driver to have? Good question. Experience at Cheeseman. All right. Get paid for a 30-hour break. George Costanza would only get married at Pizza Parlor if they serve New York-style pizza. Well, you're never going to last. Is New York-style pizza is pizza and Chicago pizza is cake? I thought don't you want your marriage to last? I mean, you can't start out with New York-style pizza and then expect to stay married even the rest of the day. He lost the variant driver Dollface Nation went to the White House today. She's live on YouTube. The variant driver Dollface. I don't know who that is. When a driver shows you a pay statement, look at the year-to-date info. Yeah, always look how much did you make today, and then go to your phone and Google how many weeks are we into the year, and then divide that out. Because they may have just had a good week, and that's the week they're showing. Because they held a check from the week before. They delivered Friday night, but couldn't get it sent in, so it didn't get in until Saturday, and so they got that extra check in there or whatever. Used to be lot lizards, now it's poachers asking, but $10.99. Right, they go, hey, can we get an attorney in here? Which, of course, I'm not. They go, we're from the government task force, and we would like to ask you some questions. I want my per diem back as a company driver. You may get $7,500 tax credit back, which is better than nothing. It's not per diem money, but it's been proposed, and it's a possibility. I don't have the people that proposed it, but it's one of each party has proposed it. So you may get $7,500, which is something. Get married after children, you won't get married. They say children are one of the top reasons people get divorced. Alex M. Thanks, Mark. When I park the truck and wife picks me up, we're stopping at White Castle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hit that drive-through. You can order in advance. Don't be in front of me ordering a Crave case of 50 White Castles. Okay, that's super annoying. All companies should treat drivers like Watkins Motor Lines did. What did Watkins Motor Lines do differently that places should do today? If they eliminate the overtime exemption and have to pay for every hour away from home, over-the-road trucking will end. It will be relays and autonomous trucks. They don't have people to do it. A cross-country load that takes one driver, they don't have the 4 drivers in the middle to do it. At the most, I think it would do if they eliminated the overtime is pay for your work time. I think that's how they would do it. I cannot imagine them paying for all of your time. The companies are going to have a good argument to say, look, the time in the sleeper is not work time, so it's only going to be driving and on-duty time. And I think that... duty, and I think that that's the only thing that they would have to pay for. And at $7.35, that's still most people make more than that an hour. And it won't be relays. So the Chicago to San Francisco, you need 3 or 4 people in there, and you don't have anybody in Laramie to pick up that 500-mile relay or whatever. The companies just couldn't do it. Just read Estelle Harris died. That's right. George Costanza's mother, she did die this week. She hopes she's no relation to Roller Arena Monday Costanza. Right, Estelle Harris. Right. She did. She was his mother on the show. She did was Mrs. Potato Head, too, in Toy Story. Okay, so only 6 months at Cheeseman. 6 months gets you $100,000. Have you tried the 1929 White Castle? No, because it's not sold here. It's only sold in select stores in Ohio, I think. Not being sold. I read about it. All right. As a permanent resident myself, Werner Enterprises wouldn't hire because I had no credit history. Oh, there is a problem with that. Some places look at your credit history, which I never agree with. Hey, there's another person from Cheeseman on there right now. I don't think the cat can believe it. What? 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 All right. I got that up there, and then I lost my spot again. Look how Rooster travels. Demand steady temperatures in truck stop showers. Stars of sudden shots of freezing water. I agree. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's kind of like at home, right? The wife sneaks in. Oh, I think I'll flush the toilet right now. Ugh. Right, exactly. Some places require credit check, which I don't agree with. I've been bankrupt. Okay, I've had a lot of problems, I guess. I've been homeless and bankrupt. Yikes, this guy's a disaster. But that doesn't stop you. That shouldn't matter about your work, right? It's what they should look at. Does this person come to work? Or, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm bankrupt because I spent way too much money on credit cards. That's why I don't have any anymore. I was an idiot. And true story. But that shouldn't matter to work. What matters, should I come to work? Am I safe? Is it true that some Walmart stores don't even allow their own trucks overnight? They boot their own trucks? Probably. I bet some of them do tell you to leave. If you're a woman-owned company, are you hiring abroad? Oh, yes. Archie Bunker. Very good. Midlife trucker, you can still get per diem as a company driver, but the company has to do it. Right. Oh, right. So you can get it. If the company pays it, you can get it. And some do. Some do still pay it. So you got it that way. But you just can't take it. Does White Castle advertise on the dark web? Oh, nice. They'd eliminate company drivers from over the road. Owner-operators would still do it. Oh, because it's a business, they'd say employees have to get paid. That's interesting. But there's not enough owner-operators. They're less than 10% of the people on the road, of the over-the-road drivers. There's not enough to take all the freight. I mean, say you eliminated just the top 10 trucking companies in the country. So then all the big names. And suddenly they had no drivers. The owner-operators can't fill that stuff in. I mean, they can't because there's just not enough people. So I don't know how they would do that. CW died this week. Yes, Convoy. 93. To be honest with you, I didn't know he was still living. Okay, so I haven't heard from him in a while. Still bad. I didn't look up why he died because 93. Not sure. Yeah, CW Bacall. We lost to him today. This week. $5 are better than cold bucks. Midlife trucker can shoot me an email. I have people asking me about good place to work. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Hit him up for that. How soon do you think hair follicle testing will be federally mandated? I think it'll be federally allowed soon. They're pushing for it, and so it'll be allowed. And they're also doing, as I commented a few weeks ago, oral fluid testing, which is what they said in the article. So they'll be able to swab your mouth. They'll be like open wide. We're going to stick this in your mouth and run it around, and they'll be able to do a swab and test you that way. That is coming also. I get those questions sometimes from people. Hey, Mark, does this place have hair follicle testing? I'm like, why is that? Oh, no reason. That kind of thing. So you still have all those prime lease drivers to haul over the road. Yeah, even including those, though. It's less than 10%, including lease drivers, which they count and all that. It's not that many drivers that are over the road that are considered, owners. So I don't think there'd be enough people to do it. Just eliminating that. I can see minimum wage eventually going to paid time. And it would be federal. Since you're cross state lines, it would be federal minimum wage for your time on duty and driving time. Then drivers would have an interesting decision to make. I guess it depends how much you make, though. Many drivers are making more money than minimum wage, so it wouldn't matter. But if you're close, do you creep around the truck stop to, try to save your hours, or do you let the clock run out the truck stop, like you're supposed to? Manhole is practicing the oral swab technique this weekend. They have some practice swabs for you to test out. You can either hold it and put it in your mouth, or you can have someone else do it. My number is on the YouTube channel. All right, sweet. Yeah, that way we can get in. People can get in contact for that place, and you just have to fight every day to get people over there and say, hey, this is the truth. And people are like, oh, I don't know about that. Maybe more people will get into the Cash is King Trucking international lease program, which he has running over there. I think that will help people out if they went to this minimum wage thing. You can get on his Max Force lease, he calls it, the Max lease. And so he has these Max Force trucks that he leases out at a good price. So lease-to-own Wieners are the best. I like leasing them because you can always give them back later. That happens with White Castles, too. Sometimes those go back later. Good video from the other day, but don't understand how you remember rear defroster blowers. I mean, being you're in your 30s. Well, I read a lot about cars, and stuff like that. So that's from reading about it in cars. And I've had several old cars myself. I've owned several cars that are quite old. Is that an in and out swap? No, it goes in and rolls around in there a few times. And that is, oral fluid is what they said in their article. Okay. Schuster Trucking. I was oral fluid tested at the manhole the other day. You passed. That's good. Did you get the gold star sticker too? And did you see that one guy in there? He had 50 gold star stickers. That was something. Michael Swift, don't do drugs. You won't have to worry about any kind of test. Yeah, and I see people asking that sometimes to companies. A company will put out a video about themselves. Then in the questions are like, hey, is there oral, hair follicle testing? Or they'll run an ad on Facebook, and there's 10 people asking, do they do hair follicle here? Okay, I'm sure they're like, write these person's name down and never hire them, kind of thing. That's not the kind of question you ask a place. Midlife Trucker got some new trucks in. All right, what kind of trucks are they? I'm just not a fan of internationals, but Fleet Nav Systems is here. Enjoyed April Fool's Day video. Hope everybody having a good one today. All right, thank you. A number of people wrote to me. Oh, and a number of people also wrote to me and wished me well. So they're probably not here today. So Twin City Dodge keeps trying to buy my Challenger. I'm sure. Look, people try to buy my Sonic. I get letters about the Sonic. So I can't imagine what they want to do with the Challenger. Of course, with the gas price, they do like the Sonic probably better. So I'm late to the show. I thought Trucking Answers is done and over with. There we go. Right. So I got a number of emails like that. Sorry about that. I thought it was clever. I see other people doing it. Maybe not as clever as I thought. I don't know. We'll see what happens next year on April 1st, as April 1st rolls around, those days. John, they should do beard testing. Yeah, well, they look, the hair follicle, because I've asked, and they say that they'll take hair from wherever they can get it. Turns out it doesn't matter to where it's from on your body. Snyder wants the burns swabs. Are they ones big on it? They do all this other stuff. So more internationals with a Cummins X15. Maybe it'd be better if you owned it. You could set it up better. Meaning it's like assigned to you. That'd probably work out better. I'm not sure what Bridget would think about that, though. I'm just not a fan of internationals. I had an LT day cab for a loaner. I don't know, not that long ago. And I thought, because people said, oh, Mark, you get an LT, it's better. I don't know. Culture Rooster Trails, I hate my hair being cut. They can wax our legs for the hair follicle test. Get your truck driver summer ready. They said they'll take it from wherever they need to get it. So you can take that for what it's worth. And I don't know how much of it they cut. I don't know how long your hair is. If you have like Crystal Gale hair, I suppose you got plenty of hair. And I don't, how many follicles do they take? That's a good question. Anybody that's had it done. How much hair do they take off of you? Anyways, and how long does it need to be? Can't stick around today, but hit us up on the channel if you have any Geotab questions. Great week and stay safe. All right, Fleet Nav Systems. Let's get that right there. Oh, right there it is. Fleet Nav Systems. All right, Geotab. Geotab experts. Well, we have Geotab. It's okay. I still like Omnitrack Satellite better. And I know they do that on this, but the company's too cheap to pay for that. You ever watch YouTubers, The Joy of Trucking? Husband and wife team, they are so upbeat and make Werner look good. Oh, are they at Werner? Well, look, Werner may be doing them right. A husband and wife team at a place that is treating them well can make huge amounts of money together. And it all goes into one pile. I mean, that's a great way to do it. You forgot to put the April Fools at the end of the video. I had a card at the end of the video that said April 1st on it. I mean, April 1 with a person laughing. I thought that'd be enough. I mean, Putin did the funniest April Fool joke on Europe. Ha, April Fool. April Fool, you. Here's some beats. You found some April Fools. Apparently, I fooled some people. I did a truck tour on my channel today. Oh, right. Mega Cares will Manscaped recruit soon. I'm just wondering how many follicles they use and how long it needs to be. Wax legs. Well, it depends. From what they said, you'd have to wax everywhere. Everywhere, because they'll take it from wherever they can get it. On my way home yesterday, saw a truck taking off a ramp at high speed. They did not make it. Ramp was closed for hours. Slow down. Yeah, what are we doing? I mean, this is the downside, I think, of not being paid by the hour. That people are forced in to make unsafe decisions. That's one of the downsides. Yeah, the screaming alone will scare the new drivers. Right. Hey, where we're going to take this from? So they need 1.5 inches of hair. Body hair will stay dirty for up to 12 months. All right, so 1.5 inches, but how much of it do they need? I mean, how many hairs? Is it like a handful, like a ponytail worth, or a Willie Nelson worth? How much of it do they need? That's what I'm saying. Exploding borscht soup. Here's a bowl of soup. Uh-oh, and they go running away. See, that's why you never eat beets. TZT Logistics. Hair follicle goes back 90 days. Marijuana stays in your system for 90 days. All other drugs for 1 to 7 days. Okay. All right. Yeah, but how much hair are they taking out of you? 40 follicles? I mean, if you had a lot of hair, could you notice it? Like, would it mess your hair up? I drove an international one time as a loaner. It was 10 times worse than my assigned FLR. Broke down as it pulled in the maintenance lot. I don't like the way it's set up inside. I don't think the buttons are set right in them. I just wasn't satisfied. The little tiny headlight button and stuff. 200 hairs. Oh my gosh. Can they get them, 10 here and 10 there? I only got about 600 or 700 left. 200 hairs. Do I get a receipt for that hair? If a company uses leg hair for testing, you'll need to wear short shorts. Who wears short shorts? You would. 1.5 inches of hair. Yeah, maybe that could work. So they could shave off hair off your leg. Always easy always easy everywhere. Paying by the hour, just rewarded for being there. I like getting paid for everything I do. Yeah, see, here's the thing. The problem today, and this is always the issue at a place where you're getting paid a good wage, like where you are, is that the hourly would not encourage people to work there. There are people on the other side of it where the company is kind of taking advantage of them. And I agree with you, which you're probably thinking, which is the driver shouldn't work there. And I agree. And I don't know how to get that changed. When I'll see places like this and they're paying $90,000, $100,000 a year that you can make easily, I don't know why people stay at a place that are making $60,000 a year doing the same kind of job. It's just being there, the normality of it. People don't like to change. But sometimes for a certain amount of money, it's time to look around and say, hey, I can do way better than this. I don't need the government to give me minimum wage. I can just go get a $30,000 raise by picking up the phone and doing something for myself. I think they'll need 3. Oh, that'd be better. Oh, fight 3 to 5 at least 1 inch long. That's better. Oh, I mean, the 200. I mean, yikes. Underwear crusty short to be a great test. Here you go. Go get them yourself, tell them. They clipped me down to my scalp, which was not supposed to be. I literally had a bald spot. The school called and cursed them out. Yeah, who's doing that? I mean, I got another bald spot, I'd say. Scott Real, let me from Motorhead short shorts. You need from the old commercials, I guess. If you're worried about a drug test, you don't belong driving a truck. I agree with that. I'm worried about losing all my hair. The amount of hair was a pinch worth. Wow. Yikes. Be careful, I'd say. Does anybody know how long a mixture of cocaine and meth stays in your system? Asking for a friend. What if it's 2 things? Is it double the amount? Plus, we got to throw in fentanyl now, too. That's a big up-and-coming thing. Of course, I run a legal logbook, actually on duty at the shipper, unless I'm really in the sleeper. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. A better place, you don't have to fake your logbook to make money. I really think that if you're at a place where you have to creep around the truck stop all the time and fake your logbook all the time, what are we doing? Why not just go to a place that pays you better so that you don't have to do all that? So that you're actually getting paid the proper way for the things that you do. And we're a company that says, okay, if you have to be out, we're going to put you in a motel and give you some money for the hassle of being a 34-hour break, so you can kind of relax. Western Felon Express, that's their new name. Yeah, why did Schneider do that to me? So they took 200. You should tell them, look, I want 90 of those back. I'll glue them back on. I mean, I don't have 200 hairs to lose to a place like that. I go, plus when I fail, I need 200 for the next place. That's a lot. You know what? I think that person just took them and now they're doing something with them. They're like cloning you or something. That's even worse. Kelly, it would vary by your body kind, but a mixture of cocaine and meth generally stays 72 hours. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, by tomorrow, from Friday, you're fine. I'm getting ready to drive from Memphis to Shady Dale, Georgia. Oh, the company's paying those miles. It's like $450, full rate. What are you going to do down there? Are you picking up a truck or something? How about all the drunks that go out driving like a fish and then get on the road a few hours later and hungover and no sleep? Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, that's a real problem. We're not nearly tough enough on drunk drivers. I've always called for jailing people at 0.01, right? No, 0 should be it. Lizard prices are up 80%. It's disappointing. Even with coupons, you just can't get the rates. That $5 rates that you used to be able to get, it's just not out there anymore. They're just not there. You're at least in double digits, always. I got Hydrox once, went to the doctor, got a shot of penicillin, cleared it right up. That's what I thought, Used to have Hydrox, and not anymore. I don't know what's happening. I mean, Hydrox. Even this is Hydrox. It's a reverse of this cat. There's Hydrox, and then there's this. I guess that's the inside. I'm going home, and they pay me to go there. Oh, all right. You live that far away from the terminal? Wow. That's a long commute. But look, if they're paying it, see, most places won't do that. So if people just look around, right? They can get a huge raise, relatively large 40% raise maybe, and get into the high 5 digits to low 6 digit range at a decent place and probably be treated way better too. Lizards and Stay Hard Trucking going up. Boy, everything is going up. Yeah, what did you wear the test? Well, I don't know why they're taking 200. They separate 10 out and then they take the other ones aside and they go, oh, we'll just keep these. I mean, what is happening? 200 does seem like a lot. If they only want a few, the problem is that because people have written to me and said, well, what if I shave my head? And that's why I looked it up. And it says that they can get them from anywhere, and they're authorized to get them from wherever you have hair on your body. That was the actual line. From wherever on your body you have hair. I thought, well, all right, who asked for that, and how does that work? I mean, is that just done in the waiting room, or, how do you do that? I'm going back to work in 2 weeks after cataract surgery. Going to Western Express. I think that's the way to go. At $130,000 a year, I think that's absolutely the way to go. And you'll find apparently 3 lovely roommates that you can share a room with. So you can all Rochambeau the bed situation. I don't know how that'll all work, but one of you can make wine in the toilet. We need more chats. I'm delivering to Memphis. Oh, I see. When Crown gets their stuff on, I'm headed home time. Terminal in South Carolina, Ohio, and Indiana. Oh, okay, I see. All right, got it. I thought you were driving home. I'm like, yikes, that is a super long commute. Although some people do that kind of thing. Pay lizards with shower credits and points. Don't they accept that at Love's? Because then the next month you have unlimited lizard privileges. They said the average, now this is from ATBS, the average owner-operator pay they have for the last year, which I talked about on the podcast but did not get onto the show here. This is the average from ATBS. This includes like prime drivers and everything else. For vans, let's start with that. $71,170 is net to them, which they would then have to pay tax on. That's $1,368 a week. I got suspended from school for making gingerbread men as women with PNV. Yikes. How did you know that? You're not a biologist. That's what you should say now. You go, hey, unless the principal's a biologist, pay lizards with shark credits, right? Typical old lady clothes, cotton with pockets. You're like, hey, grandma, come on up here. Did you have rollers too? I mean, those are classic. My mom used to run around with rollers all the time. Refrigerated. The average refrigerated owner-operator, $66,075. That's $1,270 that you're then taxed on. I mean, who does that? This has got to be a bunch of Prime and JCT drivers and stuff, because this is numbers from ATBS, where all these large companies use for tax purposes and stuff. There is no way you should be an owner-operator for $1,270 a week that you're then taxed on to own a truck. You can do way better than that over the road as a company driver. And according to ATBS, flatbedders did the best at $81,194, which is $1,561 a week after truck expenses, but before taxes. Is that crazy money? Even for $1,500 to run a flatbed, you're way better off being a company driver than if this is all lease money. It's whoever uses ATBS. That's their average for the last year. I cannot imagine owning a truck for $1,000 and making $1,270 and then being taxed on it and having to buy benefits and stuff if I wanted any from that. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous. I just sent an April poo. Very good. I'm paid percentage of the load and do over the road. My boss was a driver and owns the company with 300 drivers. Wow. Started out and owns a place with 300 trucks. That's great. They treat me very well, and I love my new truck with stacks. All right, look, if you're fair enough. That's good. Somebody's made that's like the American dream. But since the boss was a driver, you're treated better. And 300 trucks, although that's not a small place anymore. They're doing millions of dollars a year in business. Heard JB Hunt in New Jersey on the Home Depot run is paying $84 to 84 cents start per mile, 26 an hour detention. Maybe because CR England is advertising 88 cents on a Dollar Tree account or whatever, Dollar General, where you have to unload every day. Yeah, they're upping the mileage pay because they can't get people and it's hard work. I don't know if Home Depot, that might be flatbed out there for all we know. And the detention, you have to ask them how many hours you have to wait before I get my $26 an hour. If you've been in this industry more than 10 years and not making 80, you're better off working in a factory job. Yeah, go down to Subaru here and work. You can go make cars. Where can I get the podcast? Well, you can download whatever favorite podcast player you use. I just use the Google podcast player because I download a lot of podcasts. And look for Trucking Answers. We're everywhere. We're on iHeartRadio, iTunes, right, Spotify, any podcast player. It's everywhere you want to be. Go to one of the countries that have not downloaded it and download it over there so I can add a country. I can make more elsewhere, but they treat me better here. Part of it is treatment. Eventually, it's enough where you leave. If it becomes a huge amount. But for a little bit, no. To be fair, they only own the truck at the end. That's an asset, midlife trucker. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And so is it worth it to make $1,270 refrigerated, according to them, ATBS, so that at the end of 5 years or whatever, you own a truck with 700,000 miles on it that maybe you get $1 buyout, but you lost probably $700 a week in pay. So not only have you paid for the truck with payments, you paid for the truck with lost pay also, right? So I think you double paid for the truck. I don't think that's great. Being treated well is very important. It is. It's super important. I think you can get treated well at a lot of places. But being micromanaged and stuff, that's no matter what it pays, that is not worth it. Tanker drivers because truckers need heroes, flat highway. And, they didn't break out tanker because there are not that many owner-operator tanker drivers in here. And there's just not that many. Thank you for saving America, by the way, with your sweet goodness that you bring. Cheeseman has 300 trucks, and Ed, the owner, is still driving, midlife trucker. And that's why it's a good place, because the owner was a driver. I didn't know that. And I thought you had more trucks than that, to be honest with you. So, that's still a huge place. So I think 300 trucks is getting to be a pretty big place. We're in, many, many millions of dollars of revenue we're rolling through there. It's Mr. Blue. I got nothing. That's all right. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Also, Midlife Trucker at Apple TV. That's true. You can sort of watch to the podcast on Apple TV. They don't make cars in the USA. We put them together. They assemble cars at Subaru down here. That's true. They assemble them there. I'll try and VPN the downloaded podcast from Russia. Yeah, see if Russia pops up. There's actually no down. Oh, wait a minute. Ukraine, there were no downloads. I have 8 downloads in Russia. That's true. Thinking about it, because I noticed that. There are already downloads in Russia. You get some middle African country. Can you do that? Somewhere in the Central Africa. I have very few in Africa. Your health benefits would be considered pre-tax money. Cash is king. Oh, so if an owner-operator... All right, well, ATBS broke this out to suggest that this is after truck expenses. So this money, they're saying, okay, this is how much was left after all the truck expenses. Would you think they would consider, like, if somebody bought health insurance, they would put that in there too? I'm not sure. It said this is like the money left after their truck. This is how much money they have left for themselves. Like you say, to do with what they want to do with, spark plugs or spark plug or whatever. So that's how they worded it. So if they bought health insurance for, say, $200, they could then be taxed on this amount minus $200. And that's assuming they don't start short minor league so they can represent the truck and then sell it to somebody else. Short minor league. Never go with a driver lease program, Michael. I don't recommend it. And certainly if this is the actual money you're going to make, there's no way. $1,200, you're way better off being over the road as a company driver. If you're only going to make $1,200, go make $2,000 as a company driver and don't have to worry about the truck. I mean, there is something to be said for that. Trucking Answers is #1 in North Korea. I'm the #1 downloaded podcast in North Korea. All three people in North Korea that have a phone listen to the podcast in North Korea. That's correct. Including the head of the country and the other 2 people that snuck a phone in. They have their old the North Korean phone. Midlife Trucker Tom Bell, tip your host. Wieners are expensive. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wieners do the price can get up there sometimes on those. Sometimes you get you get stuck with the bill on them, and that isn't any good. #1 in North Korea. All I'm saying is about this as I head out today is that if that's the money, after the truck that you have left over, $1,300, $1,200, $1,300, even $1,500, it's not really worth owning the truck. At the end of it, yeah, you get a truck worth what, 80 grand? Well, let's say it's worth $80,000, but I think you've paid $500 a week. You've made $500 a week less money over 5 years. That's $125,000 to get $80,000. That's not a great plan. You're basically losing $40,000 over that time. A company driver would at least be even. Wouldn't own a truck, but would be even. You paid $40,000 over the price of it. That's not a great plan. That's like you give me 20, and then 5 years later I give you back 12, and you think you made $12. Right? That's not how it works. The ones that say walk away lease end up with you somehow owing them thousands. I wonder if there's anyone honest one. Oh no, because a lot of them have an over mileage thing. So at the end, they say, okay, over 10,000 miles a month is 20 cents a mile, and so you don't think anything about it. But then at the end, you've put 12,000 miles a month on maybe to make your payments, and so you have all this extra money. And at the end, they go, it would be $1 plus this $15,000, $18,000 over mileage, and if you don't have it, well, they'll finance that for you too. Midlife Trucker, Kim Jong-un is listening to the podcast. He's a known listener. I think he's in here under an assumed name. Remember rollers? Is that where you like roller wieners? He kind of. Hers were bigger though. She had those big rollers that she'd put them in that plastic head thing. Then you turned the thing on, it would sit there and it would dry her hair out or whatever. Oh yeah, classic stuff. Shorten your mouth so they can repossess the truck and sell it again. Oh yeah, some places are known to do that. If you get mouthy with them or start turning loads down, even though that's your right, they just shorten your mouths up. Eventually you go broke and they just sell the truck to the next person. That's why you got to have the asset that you can take with you. Please don't forget the mustard. Always mustard up your wieners. You don't want them dry. Creepy Joe is here. What's up with all those accidents happening around the country involving trucks? Has it always been this bad? No, people aren't paying attention. If you run into the people in front of you, you're not paying attention. You have to be able to stop no matter what the weather, no matter what anything. You have to be able to stop for the people in front of you. World of credit, so I appreciate that. Chili cheese dog with onions. You'll be burping all day. Hey, if you're by yourself, no problem, right? Just crack that passenger window open, which I like to ride with it open anyways all the time because I'm afraid of dying from gas getting in the truck. I just am. And so I always have the passenger window cracked open unless it's super, super cold out. As I said, don't go with a driver lease. No, go get your own truck somewhere. How much a lease a 77 Pinto? I know a guy that's only got like a year left on his Pinto lease, $97 a month, and he's got the Squire wagon though. So absolutely. I'm eating thin chorizo, pan fried. That sounds great. Actually, that sounds pretty good. Do you have enough for everybody? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget, if you wear it, make it a parrot. Always have something on your head. Don't just walk around. Plus, people need to know you're a truck driver. How are they going to know if you don't put something on your head? We talked about Smith today. You can get $93,600 there, and it's true. Worth the call. Look at that truck. You could be in a truck like that there. And we also talked about Cheeseman. Okay, you can make 6 digits of Cheeseman too. And you can go right there to that YouTube channel and find out how to do it. And it's possible. Fleet Nav Systems was here today too. Oh yes, they said hello, and then they said goodbye. So out they go. So thanks for being here today. Cash King Trucking, thank you for being here. Trucking with Diabetes also on the show. So there, and don't forget about Jay. Don't forget about Jay on Tuesdays. Don't forget to get your flip-flops in Hebron. Look at this. What are we doing? Where is America coming to? That's in Hebron, Indiana at the Flying J. And, of course, today sponsored by King Oil. Become an oil king from Milton Bradley. Milton Bradley. Play with your family. It's a fun game that everybody's going to love. If you post something they don't like on YouTube, that lease is over. That's true, too. Well, that's like any company, though. Your employment can be over, I think. So I wouldn't recommend, bringing your truck into that kind of video. If you're recruiting, be very careful, about how you do that on YouTube and stuff. And I'd probably talk to the company in advance if I wanted to start recruiting for a company and say, hey, work here. What are we going to do? How does this work? Kind of thing, rather than just get fired about it. Hot dog should have mustard and relish, never ketchup. Mustard only. Unless we're in Chicago, then we get a Chicago dog with everything right off that cart, which is totally sanitary, of course. Firing your butt from other things than Taco Bell or truck stop food. Still making payments on my Edsel. You got it. Well, on one of those Corsairs, you got what? Corvair. That's a Corvair. You got 1 year left. Put your slippers on. That's nice. Accidents across the nation is the reason we're not on Mars. That's one of them. Oh, Flying J. Some of them should be logoed. Chow for now. That's what we're going to have to do as we roll out of the place. So I do want to thank John Zablack for being here. Michael Swift was here today. Stan Dodge, the Hool, was here today. Mark Lindquist, thank you for coming in. Midnight Trucker Tom Bell, thank you for being on the show today. Keltarusu Travels, hope you get your hair back. I mean, that was a huge chunk. They just grab it and slice it off. You hear a shink with one of those big knives. Shunk, slices off. Yikes. That scared me because I hardly have any hair left. So, Creepy Joe was here today. All right. So, Kelly Patterson, thank you for being here today. So, let's see where we're going here. Oh, Flat Highway was here today. I'm going to look into that place on 350. If it's $100,000 over there, that's something. That is very compelling. That is a very compelling deal. They have a sign that says $1,500. So there you go. It's Mr. Plow is here today. Cassius King Trucking, as we talked about, was here today. Thank you for being here. C. Lowe's was here today. Paul Salinas. So I'm going to have to head on out of here and see what they're doing over at work. Anyways, John M., thank you for being here. Blues Trucker. Aviator Trucker was here today. Kelly Patterson, thank you for coming in. Million Miler was here. We had George H.W. Bush was first today. Joan Harper, thank you for being here today. Maybe get to some White Castles. I think you're going to love them. I think you just forgot how good they are. So head down there and get one. Or a dozen, as they say. Buy them by the sack. Not sponsored by White Castle. So, the Anime Trucker, thank you for being here. So we're going to head on out of the place. Oh, there's that. We're going to do that and have more videos this week. We are still back. So thanks for being here. Be safe out there, everybody, all right? And